freedom, man. That's what it's all about. You've got to groove on freedom, like the good book says.
Welcome. You are listening to What on Earth is Happening. This show will discuss the topics of human consciousness, mind control, natural law, the occult, and all issues that affect the freedom of the people of Earth. What on Earth is Happening will endeavor to shine light upon the darkness of our world and to offer empowering solutions to the problems we face as humanity approaches its critical moment of choice. And now, here is your host, Mark Passio.
Welcome one and all, you're watching What on Earth is Happening. I'm your host, Mark Passio. My website, whatonearthishappening.com. Ladies and gentlemen, government is still slavery. Thank you for tuning in today. Today is my first show back after a very long hiatus. I took a hiatus from live broadcasting about 16 months ago after episode number 236. Today's episode number is number 237. It is January 1st, 2022. I hope everybody's starting the year off at least better than the last couple. And this show will be live every Sunday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. East Coast time. We are simulcasting on many different streaming platforms right now. So I just want to give a quick list of where we're broadcasting before I get into the topics for today's show. We're live on, of course, whatonearthishappening.com. You can watch on the home page, or you can watch on the show page at whatonearthishappening.com/show. We are also simulcasting on the One Great Work Network. I'm going to tell everyone about One Great Work Network during today's broadcast because it's a huge project that I undertook and launched early last year. And I want to tell people about what it is and how it works. We are simulcasting on Odyssey.com, on my Odyssey channel that you can get to from my videos page. We're simulcasting on Float, on my personal Float page. We are simulcasting on YouTube and on Facebook. So I think that is a total of 7 simultaneous streams that we're sending out. So you could check out the show weekly at any of those locations. And the first thing I want to talk about is the restructuring of What on Earth is Happening. Because as you can see, I'm doing the show at my own computer desk like I kind of would a ordinary presentation that I've done in this format many times. And for the time being, this will be the streamlined format of the show. I am not having a setup crew come in and break down my bedroom and turn it into a mini studio for the time being. Now, if circumstances change and I'm at some point possibly get a slightly larger place, then we may go back to that format. But for now, I feel like it's too much of an expenditure of energy, and I need to take a more streamlined approach to the show for my benefit, and I think the listeners' benefit, because it was a lot of stress, actually, when I did it like that. If I have the chance to set up a permanent studio at some point in the near future, that's really what I would like to do at the current point, that's not really very feasible. So, in the future, if that works out, I'll have a studio set up and never have to break it down. And it'll be less stress each week setting it up, breaking down. I don't really want to get involved in that right now. So the show will also be now on a 6-month on, 6-month off schedule. And this is for my time and my health, to be quite honest. Because I really want to try to take a little bit more of a measured approach when it comes to what I'm broadcasting. As everyone knows, and by the way, if you're a new listener, you shouldn't be watching this show. For those who don't know, although I've said it about 1.25 billion times, What on Earth is Happening is a cumulative broadcast. That means that show number 237 should not be listened to unless you've listened in order shows 1 through 236. There is prerequisite information to understand in the earlier shows, which if you don't have that prerequisite information in your mind, later shows will not make sense to you. So if you're a new listener, you don't want to start here. You want to go back to show number 1. You want to take your time and go in order. You can go to whatonearthishappening.com/podcast. Okay? And there you will see all my archived podcast shows. And you want to start at number 1 and go in order without skipping all the way through the current show. But don't start here. Bad idea. Okay? So, this is the new streamlined structure of the show, and we are on a 6-month on, 6-month off basis. That means that I will be live streaming each Sunday, 3 to 6 p.m. It's an exactly 3-hour show from January through June. So I'll start around the first or second week of January, depending on what day that falls on. And then I will broadcast all the way through June. Okay? Probably until the last Sunday of June. And that is because the second half of the year, July through December, I will be hosting, of course, the How to Become the True Media Technology seminar online. We'll be talking about that a little bit later, but essentially it's a technology seminar that I give over the course of 6 months, weekly, 1 day a week, 3 hours of intensive skill sharing when it comes to computer technology and media publishing, because I think this is one of the most important things that can be taught. I want to teach people how to do work like this, so that we have people, if they're knowledgeable, will also be knowledgeable about how do you set up technology to broadcast to thousands or possibly even hundreds of thousands of people. We have to get the word out about what's going on in our world, and the only way to do that is if people understand how to publish media online. That is what reaches the maximum number of people, as I've said, ad infinitum. And yet we still don't have people putting their voice out there when they know this information. They know about natural law. They know about objective morality. They know about the tyranny that's taking place in our world, but they're not using their voice to speak because in many ways they're ignorant when it comes to technology and or they're technophobe. They have a fear of technology for some unwarranted reason that's stuck deep in their psyche and that they haven't analyzed. They haven't done the shadow work to analyze why haven't you gotten involved in technology to speak out and reach other people. They don't understand what the mental stumbling blocks, what the fear factors, the psychological fear factors that is preventing them from getting involved in understanding how some of this technology works and utilizing it to their benefit. It's actually going to be a topic of a future show or perhaps a series of shows right here on What on Earth is Happening. Where we will analyze all of the fear factors that stop people from beginning this type of work. And we'll do it in real time. We'll make pros and cons. And I'll have people look at, all of the fears that you have and how ridiculous those will seem when you compare them to the pros of doing this type of work and realizing the good that you could be putting out into the world. So, that may be a future What on Earth is Happening. So, let's get started with the topic of today's show, which is going to be, what type of work did I do during my hiatus from live broadcasting? Because let me tell you something, folks. I get emails all the time. All the time. Mark, where have you been? What have you been doing? I can't believe you're not doing anything. You stopped broadcasting back in August of 2020 and haven't heard from you since. And let me tell you what kind of individuals these are. They are people who follow me on a social media platform such as YouTube. Okay? They go to my YouTube channel and they believe that's what I do. Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain once and for all. Please understand this. Could we definitively understand this point once and forever? YouTube and my YouTube channel has really very little to do with my work, and it is not where you should follow me. Okay? Let me say this one more time definitively. You should not follow me through my YouTube channel. That's not me saying don't subscribe to my YouTube channel. I am saying if you wish to follow the work that I do on a daily basis or a weekly basis or a monthly basis, I don't care how frequently you check in on the work that I'm doing. Quite frankly, I care much more about what you're doing or in fact not doing. Okay? So if you do want to check in on the status of what I am doing, you should not be following my YouTube channel for that, because that's not the totality of my work by any stretch of the human imagination. Okay? Don't listen for tweets that I make on Twitter. Okay? Or even go to alternative social media platforms, which I'm on those as well. You could get the whole list on my website down on the left-hand column that says social. Because I'm on a lot of different social media platforms. That's not where you should be following me, ladies and gentlemen. Follow Mark Passio's work at whatonearthishappening.com. There in the news section, you will get everything that I do pretty much. Okay? New videos that I put out, new events that I'm involved in, new presentations that I release, etc. And that's the problem, folks. Part of the problem is people don't go to people's websites anymore. They follow them through YouTube or Facebook. And guess what? These internet ghettos, these total monopolies through big tech platforms are not where you should be following the alternative news community, the alternative media community. You should support them by going to their own websites. We have to get back to everybody has their own individuated platforms through their own website. That's how to do it. That's how to put the word out. Yeah, you could post on social media about what you're doing so people can follow that, but that is not where the bulk of people should be following me at. Go to my website, whatonearthishappening.com, bookmark it in your browser, regardless of what browser you happen to use, and follow me there. That's where to go. So, let's get started with today's topic, and I'm going to be testing out my new skills at producing, so let's jump into my laptop. All right. Good. Everything seems to be working well. So this is the title card. Thank you to the graphic artists who are going to be working on graphics for me. That involves Will Keller, Becca Godwin, also Tom Shepard, who came up with the new What on Earth is Happening logo. I've rebranded my logo and font. And also Brett Hatton for the past graphics work that he has done. All the graphic artists who have worked with me have done a phenomenal job. So thank you for what you have done and continue to do. So again, today's episode is 237. And the topic is, what have I done since my last show, since my last broadcast? And you know what, folks, before we get into other topics, which I'm going to tell people what other topics of the show are going to be, I really think this is actually quite important because people don't really understand what the great work is yet. They don't understand it. The great work, the one great work of helping to end human slavery isn't talking to your neighbor. You can do that, and that's fine, and I encourage that. It isn't talking to your brother or sister. It isn't talking to your parents or children. That needs to be done. Not saying not to do those things. I'm saying I don't consider that the one great work. The one great work is when you step out of your fear psychologically. See, the one great work means you yourself have done enough internal shadow work upon your own psychology to find the power and courage of your own voice. Now, I want to emphasize this and say it again. The one great work for you, let's get that right in there, for you, okay, begins when you have done enough internal psychological healing that you say to yourself, I'm going to find the power and courage of my voice. I'm not going to say I'm totally dependent on Mark Passio of What on Earth is Happening, or David Icke, or Michael Tessarion, or Jordan Maxwell, or Alex Jones, or anybody. You're saying to yourself, I'm going to put the word out there. I'm going to take a stand personally against this tyranny. And I'm going to let the world know that I don't want it, that I'm not going to stand for it. I'm going to let the world know I'm going to put my voice out into the world myself. And some people are starting to come out of their shells to do this, but it's very, 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 very few. It's not enough. The effort is not good enough, quite frankly. And it needs to be drastically improved. So, for all the people that don't follow me at What on Earth is Happening, and they're not abreast of what I'm doing, they just have no idea because they're waiting for another show to come out on YouTube, and I posted on What on Earth is Happening, I'm taking an extended hiatus. They may not have even seen that, so they're like, oh, Mark's just abandoned this work and he's done nothing. So I'm going to show you in my quote-unquote time off, in my hiatus, what has Mark Passio been doing during that time period. So, let's move on with the slides. So I explained that yes, we're taking a streamlined format approach to the show. And again, that is for my own benefit, quite frankly. I want to say thank you to my previous crew. And if they still do want to be involved in this work, when I set up a more permanent studio form for the format of this show, every member of the crew that previously helped me is welcome to come back, of course. They all did a good job, but it's just too much for me on a weekly basis to have my home turn upside down in the fashion that it has to be to do this, and the amount of people that have to be in such a small, almost closet-like space. I've told people before not to harp on it. I live in a half row home in South Philly. It's not even a full-size row home. It's considered a half-sized. And it's like very small, okay? Regardless, you might see, oh, this room looks a little bit kind of spacious. There's some room behind me. It's very, very tiny, folks, when you look at the whole place. And to have 5 or 6 people, maybe sometimes 4 or 5, in here all at the same time, it's congestion, and it really doesn't allow me the time necessary that I need, not even the time necessary, but the space necessary to really prepare and get in the headspace of what I'm going to do for the show, which is what I need. I need less adrenal rush of, oh, let's hurry and get this done, and I'm worried about people making mistakes and all of that. When the studio at some future point is set up permanently, and that will happen at some future point, creation willing, then I'll have the full crew and do all the bells and whistles again. But it's going to have to suffice this way for the time being. So that's the new streamlined show format on a 6-month schedule from January through June. So the last podcast that I did, last live streaming show, was the date August 23rd, 2020. So about 16 months ago. And I ended that show in a very foul mood. I ended that show saying, what the fuck have you done? To my own listening audience. Because quite frankly, I felt, and I still feel, that my own listening audience has not done enough. And I've turned my attention far away from the psychopaths who run the world. And I've turned my attention toward the people who want to complain about that, yet do nothing. They want to watch more. They want to consume more media. They want to try to follow everybody's work, but they have no work of their own. And I told people, if you want to measure and gauge, what work have you done on your own? What work have you put out into the world? All you really need to do is go to any online search engine of your choosing. It could be Google, it could be DuckDuckGo, it could be Bing, it could be Quant, it could be Ecosia, whatever you want. You can go to any search engine you want. Put your full name in double quotes into that search engine. So type double quote Mark Passio, double quote, right? And see what comes up that I've put out into the world publicly. And look at that body of information and work. And not bragging, telling the truth, it is considerable amount of work. And quite frankly, it is the most spot on, true, and best analysis of the nature of our reality and the nature of the solution to the problem that any single individual has ever put out in the history of humanity. And I'm not bragging when I say that. I'm not tooting my own horn. That is simply what is true. Whether you accept that or believe it or not, it is. And that's not me being an egomaniac, folks. That's me honestly assessing my own work. And guess what? It could be done even better. It could be, there's always room for improvement for everyone. But here's the point that I'm making. When it comes to me making this accusation toward people and saying, what the fuck have you done? I want you to make an honest appraisal of your own work. And I want you to look at the psychological fear factors involved in why you haven't done anything. Saying I'm not good with computers isn't an excuse anymore, folks. Sorry, that doesn't cut it. You have every opportunity that you need. Saying I don't have the time doesn't cut it. You have a phone or a tablet or a laptop, okay? You could squeeze a few moments to do a couple videos here and there at night, one day during the week or on the weekend. It's all just excuses, okay? So let me say this about the last show that I did, okay? I apologize for absolutely nothing that I said during that broadcast. I am not sorry for anything that I said. Do you want to know why? I spoke that which is true. The end. I spoke the truth in that broadcast. Okay? Period. Now, that having been said, I did let my anger run away a little bit. Or a lot of bit. Okay? And I'm going to try to reel that a bit. And I said I was going to do that last time and wasn't really able to do it. But I think I can with the reduced stress of this type of a format. And, quite honestly, really during this time off, considering this dynamic of what have I done? And that I'm okay. I don't even really need to get that upset because long term in the cosmic sense, when it comes to a soul factor, when it comes to the soul dynamic, Mark Passio is just fine. And I said this at the end of the last show. There is no problem here. I'm fine. The problem is out there with the world. And see, most people can't do that finger pointing. Because once they do this and they ask, are you just fine with what you've done? Then you got to go look in that mirror and answer that question honestly. See, I've done that. And the answer comes back, I've done a hell of a lot. And it's been fantastic work. I go and listen to some of the shows that I've done. I go and listen back to, and I don't do it that often. Right? But sometimes I'll be like, I want to see how I did there. And I'll go back and I'll listen to like my most recent presentation, in this case, Fear of Sacrifice and the Freedom Movement that I gave back in October. And I'm like, damn, I'm fired. Nobody is talking this way. Nobody says anything like this. And it's not me bragging. It's not me being all sweet on myself. It isn't that, folks. It's me making an honest appraisal of the situation. And there is nobody that puts the information out into the world the way that I do. Some come close and they do a good job, but it's not quite the way I do it. Okay? And I'm just saying that. And I'm not telling anybody go and do it my way. Go do it your way. Right? You want to complain about how I do it. A lot of people do. Not everybody, but some people want to complain about how I do it. It isn't about complaining about how anybody does it. It's about you going doing it yourself. But see, that's the difference between talking the talk and walking the walk. That's the difference between saying, oh, I'd like this person to talk about this, that, or the other thing, versus you talking about this, that, or the other thing, the way you want to talk about it. Don't tell them. That's the other thing I want to say, folks. Listen. Just listen to this, and I've said this many, many times. I don't want suggestions about my work. I didn't elicit suggestions. I didn't ask you, how do you think Mark Passio is doing, and what do you think I should do next, and what do you think I should talk about and cover? Never asked anybody that. As a matter of fact, I am not interested in your opinion, quite frankly, and I don't really care one iota what you think of my attitude about that. I don't care what you think. I care about how the world is progressing, either into deeper levels of the understanding of truth and freedom and the manifestation of freedom, or remaining ignorant, remaining silent, remaining apathetic and cowardly, and going deeper into bondage and tyranny. That's the only dynamic that I care about. I am uninterested in what you think of Mark Passio's work. I'll be the judge and gauge of my work. Thank you very much. Okay? And you could be the judge and gauge of your work. So, this is what we ended off the last show. And guess what, folks? There's no difference. Nothing has really changed here. Okay? Don't expect me being softer in this aspect. I said I'm going to try to reel in the unnecessary anger. Okay? Don't get me wrong, it's still there. But I'll reel in the mega-charged anger because it doesn't suit the purpose of really me getting the word out fully. Okay? So, I will occasionally go off on a rant that's not going to go away, but I'm going to try to take a slightly more tempered approach. I've promised myself this. We'll see how it goes. Okay? Now, that being said, don't expect me being soft on people. I'm still going to call them out on their bullshit. Okay, I'm still going to tell them when they've done nothing that they've done nothing and they have no business complaining about anybody else because that's still true. And that's why I don't apologize for anything I said in the last broadcast. Get as offended as you like. Okay? That still holds. That's still one of the taglines of the show. Okay? So, let's move on. So all the people that ask, what has Mark done in the last time since the hiatus that he took? Why isn't he doing anything? You have no idea what I'm doing, quite frankly. Let me say that again, unapologetically, right to people's face. Okay? You have no idea what I do. Zero. You'll have a little bit of an idea of what I do, but it isn't the full magnitude of what I do if you follow my website. Because a lot of it is there, but it is not everything that I do. So this isn't even going to be a complete list because you don't see what I do every damn day. You don't see the struggle that I have every single day in utilizing the tools that are at my disposal here in my home office, to actually get the word out. People don't see how much information leaves this place. And I think about it almost every day, and it's colossal. It's unimaginable. Okay? So, here is what I've done and put out into the world publicly since my last broadcast. Okay? Here we go. So, again, the beginning of the broadcasting hiatus started August 23rd, 2020. And that was episode number 236. So almost immediately after that, a couple months after that, on October 14th, 2020, October 14th, ARC 2.0 became publicly available. So for people who don't know what the ARC drive is, it is an offer that I've been making through What on Earth is Happening for several years. Essentially, this started probably back in around 2009, 2010, right around there somewhere, where a friend of mine asked me, he realized how much knowledge I carried. And he said, you must have done an incredible amount of reading and studying and watching videos and lectures and listening to audio and podcasts, etc. You obviously have backed up that media. You don't seem like the person that would just be so technologically inept that they don't back anything up. And he said, would you consider going through your data archives and assembling a best of for me? I'll give you a hard drive. And would you put the best material that you've come across over the years on the drive for me so that I can learn some of the things that you've learned? And I said, yeah, absolutely. His name was Mihai. We called him Mike as, an Americanized nickname, but his actual name was Mihai. I believe he was Romanian. And I haven't been in touch in a while. And I said, sure, absolutely. So Mihai gave me a 1 terabyte hard drive, which was almost unheard of at the time. They weren't the slim versions, the USB powered versions of today. It was a full size, plug in with a wall wart 1 terabyte drive. And at the time, these were like $600-$700 for a terabyte drive, So I'm like, okay, he's taking it very seriously. So I'll take it seriously. And I really will go through my data archives on optical discs. And I will copy off of those what I think is the best and most important material for him to understand, and copy it to a 1 terabyte drive. So that's what I did. Now, since then, I have evolved the ARC drive offer. Well, anyway, what he suggested to me, he said, this is such an incredible archive of data, and the material on it is so good. Why don't you offer this to the public? So I said, sure. Great idea. And that became the ARC drive offer. And ARC stands for Amazing Repository of Knowledge. It's Mark's ARC. Okay. And since then, the offer has evolved from a 1 terabyte drive to a 2 terabyte drive. I've since doubled the amount of data that is available on this drive. This is basically the information that I feel people need to know about the world, information that woke me up, that can help to wake anybody up. You don't even require an internet connection. All you require is a computer that has a USB port. That's it. That's how simple the ARC drive offer is. So I call this Get the Whole Picture. The ARC 2.0 drive consists of over 26,000 audio files, over 9,500 digital books, and over 3,400 videos on the ARC drive. This is from my own personal archive of research and data, gathered into a huge digital library and copied onto the 2 terabyte hard drive that you provide. So you can read more about the ARC offer, and you can get the stringent ARC drive shipping instructions at whatonearthishappening.com/ARC. Now, the instructions are just the way that they are, and you have to deal with them, folks, because I need to run this like factory production. I don't have time to make special offers, special considerations for people, right? You got to get it to me in the way I need it, and I need to copy it and get it back out to you. And that's just how it is. I don't have the time for anything else. I barely have the time to do this. I'm averaging like 1 every day, practically. Okay? So don't mess around and take the ARC drive offer non-seriously. If you're going to do it right. Follow the shipping instructions to the letter, please. That's all I ask. It's not that much to ask for this free information. Okay? Next. So, and by the way, folks, let me jump back a slide there. By the way, I'm very happy and proud to report that since my hiatus since October 14th, 2020, when I made the ARC 2.0 available, I have sent out almost 300 drives. So that's not quite 1 every day, but it's getting to average to be 1 a day. I've sent out about 300 ARC drives in the 16-month hiatus. So I'm very, very happy about that. Okay. And I'd like to bump that number up if possible. I'd like to bump it up. Okay. I think we could bump that number up, and more people can and should order the ARC 2.0 drive. So just wanted to say that I've gotten a few hundred out there in that time period. I probably sent out thousands of ARCs if you include the 1.0 version, but the 2.0, 300 so far. All right, the next date was December 6th, 2020. I gave a presentation called Are You Really the Good Guys? This was a short format presentation. I believe I had either 10 or 15 minutes to deliver it, so it's not very long, okay? But it is ultra, ultra, ultra hard hitting. And I'm just going to take a sip of my iced coffee here. Give me a moment. All right. That is excellent. So, this presentation was about the people who wanted to end the COVID lockdown measures and the masking measures in the city of Philadelphia and this region of the country. And I have no problem with that. I'm all for that. I've said many times I think this is utterly ridiculous, regardless of what type of illness this is or what the causal factors of it are. The lockdown and masking measures are absolutely ridiculous. And secondly, nobody really has the authority to do anything like that. And the people who are tolerating it are atrocious. And that's just about everybody in this city because they're radical leftists and communists and they have no idea and don't care about personal freedom. You know, they'd gladly walk into a cage, lock the door themselves and throw the key away because that's how dumb they are, quite frankly. They don't understand the long-term view of world history. They don't understand the truth about the conspiratorial view of human history. And they certainly don't understand morality. And that's the big problem. They don't understand how connected morality and freedom are through natural law and through the law of freedom, that as human morality increases, human freedom increases. And as human morality declines, human freedom declines. These are people who couldn't give a damn about freedom or morality. Quite frankly, they're satanic. They're Satanists indeed. What I call de facto Satanists. Okay? Not Satanists who relish in being Satanists and who claim it. Okay? But in their deeds and in their thoughts and in their total actions on a daily basis, they are satanic. From a true understanding of the true definition of what Satanism really is, not what people believe it to be. So I tried to explain to people, you out there who think you're the good guys just because you're against lockdown measures and mask mandates, and you don't understand morality and natural law, and you're still advocates of government, and you're begging government for these things because you don't want to give up the reins of government. You want to control the reins of government, right? You don't want the throne to go away. You don't want to burn the throne to ashes. You want to sit on the throne. Or you want to be the person that whispers in the ear of the person who's sitting on the throne. But you don't want the throne gone. So these are people who won't claim that they're anarchists because they don't know the real definition of that word either. That there are no rulers, that there are no masters, and therefore there are no slaves. Anarchy is the absence of slavery. That's all it means. It means nothing else. Never has meant anything else. It doesn't mean chaos. Government is slavery. The absence of government is freedom. The absence of slavery is freedom. That's what anarchy means. And these are people who will attack anarchists and will say, we don't want anarchy. We don't want to have the philosophy of anarchy in our minds. We want limited constitutional government. Well, you want limited slavery. And there is no such thing. You're either enslaved or you're free. The end. Freedom requires personal responsibility in choosing right actions over wrong actions when you have the knowledge of right over wrong. When you have the definitive knowledge of the difference between right action and wrong action, which is called conscience. You know? And unfortunately, these people still don't have that. They'll believe that they do, they'll claim that they do, but in point of fact, reality, in truth, they do not. And that's the problem, is that people don't understand objective morality and natural law yet on a worldwide basis. And why don't they? Here's why. This community hasn't been doing a good enough job in putting that information out into the world through formalized internet media. Let me say that again. The reason that the people out there still do not understand objective morality, natural law, what true anarchy is, why we need to completely abolish government, that government is slavery, etc., so forth. The reason the whole world is still ignorant of this, and we are going into bondage and tyranny and slavery deeper into those dynamics. We're already in those dynamics, but we're going deeper into them, is not because of the psychopaths who run the world. It's not because of the psychopathic satanic intelligence agencies or religious institutions or occult organizations. It is not because of them. It is because of the listeners of the What on Earth is Happening broadcast who are sitting back, listening to Mark Passio and doing nothing themselves. That's the dynamic. Get as offended as you want. All of the absolute inactive, because of their cowardice and or apathy, or both, of the people who have heard my voice speak the truth, and yet in their own personal lives they've put no work out into the world formally in a formal capacity on the internet for all to see publicly. That's the reason. Get it straight. Get it right and get it straight. And get as offended about it as you like. It's still true. And it's not just my listenership. It's other people who stop short. They don't understand the whole principle of enlightenment is you got to go all the way. There's only two mistakes you make on the path to truth, not starting and not going all the way. Some people won't start into the path of looking what real anarchy is and why we need the abolition of all forms of government on this planet, because government is slavery. They don't want to confront what they've bought into, what they've been lied to about. Okay? And I may do an extended version of this presentation at some point on What on Earth is Happening. So, understand that as long as you yourself remain inactive, you're contributing to the dynamic that you see on the screen there, to the lockdown of the whole world, the slavery of the entire world. And you need to ask yourself, what are the fear factors that are holding me back from doing it? Everybody has the technology in their hand. You know, my phone's acting as my show clock, so I'm not going to bring it in here, but pick up your phone. That's your window to the world. Everybody has the opportunity and the ability to point their phone at themselves, speak a few words of truth into it, and hit upload. Turn the camera on, record it. After it's done being recorded, upload it to the social media platform of your choice. You know, you could start there if you don't have any more technical know-how than that. And if you don't have the technical know-how, what's stopping you from doing something like acquiring the technical know-how, like attending the How to Become the True Media seminar and learning these skill sets? As a direct result of How to Become the True Media, I know at least a few people have started broadcasting on their own, which is fantastic. And that's the whole point. That's what I want to see. So what I was saying to these people at this lockdown rally is, you guys still believe in government. That really doesn't make you the good guys. That makes you part of the dynamic that's locking down the planet. And I don't know, maybe they received it, maybe they understood it. I mean, you know, we'll have to see whether this bears fruit, you know. But I had to say it to them because everybody goes there with all these, you know, let's shake hands, let's be buddy, let's pat each other on the back. No. Most people have not come all the way. Forget being just an advocate of, oh, I want to advocate to the government to not do this. You're begging your slave master not to beat you 7 days a week, but to beat you 5 days a week. That's not how you get out of slavery. You know? Because he'll be like, oh, I'll make up for the other 2 days, beating them 5 days a week, as long as they stay on the plantation. You know? And that's what they're advocating for. Screw that. Government needs to be abolished. Period. The end. Because there is no such thing as the legitimate rulership of human beings, and that's all government is. It's one group of people making dictates called laws and saying that the other group called their subjects or their slaves must morally conform to those laws. They have a moral obligation to obey the dictates set by the masters. No, we don't have a moral obligation to obey your arbitrary dictates. The only moral obligation we have is to obey the laws of the creator of the universe, which is natural law. That's it. No man, woman, or group of men or woman is that power that put natural law into the universe. And unless you can prove that you are, you make no law. Let's get it straight. You claim to be the lawgiver and the lawmaker. You are no such thing. You're an imposter, you're a fraud, and you're trying to usurp the place of the creator of the universe. The end. That's truth, that's reality, that's how it really works, whether anybody out there listening understands it or agrees. So this was my presentation, December 6th, 2020. Of course, available now for free on whatonearthishappening.com and my social media platforms. Next, one of the biggest pieces of work of my entire life. Part of what you might call, in addition to, the whole What on Earth is Happening series and the natural law seminar, etc., my magnum opus, my personal great work. This is a culmination of about 5 years of envisioning how this would work and come together, having a lot of great help along the way, and finally came to full fruition February 2nd of 2021. So on Candlemas/Imbolc of 2021, OneGreatWorkNetwork.com went live. The One Great Work Network ultimate mission statement is ending slavery one mind at a time. So this was the logo that Sethicus Boza made for the network and graphics. I believe Steve Mealy made this graphic. That's another of the great graphics team. I neglected to mention him earlier as well. But he did this graphic. And we launched on February 2nd with, I believe, 40 content creators. We've since expanded to 53 and are going to expand to a few more over the coming weeks. I haven't had much time to invest in bringing more content creators, onboarding them, but I am going to do that. I've promised to do it during the hiatus. I didn't quite make it, but I will get to onboarding more content creators as well. Now, I want to stop and pause and come out of the presentation right here. So let me switch back here while I get my computer prepared here. I want to go to my web browser, and I want to show you One Great Work Network in real time. So here we go. Let me start with it muted. And I'm going to go full screen here. So this is One Great Work Network, and you could see I'm simulcasting on One Great Work Network. So it's going to go into that infinity mode, okay? That happens when you loop back a camera. I can't prevent that from happening right now, but essentially there is a live streamer here, okay? And basically we run a streaming server that will play many people's videos in a very long playlist on loop, okay? And then we bring in live shows in real time as well, as is being done right now with What on Earth is Happening. However, here on the right-hand side, I'll refresh the page. You'll see this is just a series of articles that we make available at random. I believe it's 12 articles. Anytime you refresh the page, you can see a new 12 articles from the pool of thousands of articles that we have on the entire network. Okay? And if you scroll down below that section where we have the live player and the random 12 articles, you'll see the content creators that are currently onboarded onto One Great Work Network. So I'm not going to read them all, but I'll scroll through it a little bit slowly. And I believe we currently have 53. I think that's the number. I'm not 100% positive, but I'll tell you in a moment. But these are some of the great content creators that we have on the network. And let me tell you something, folks. I think this is one of the best compilations of material anywhere on the internet. And I'm not just saying that because it's my project. The people who put content onto this network are doing such a fantastic job. And it's 55. So we have 55 content creators on the network right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times 6 is 48. No, 48, 49, 50, 51, 50. It is 53. We have 53 content creators on the network right now. Okay? So that will be expanding, probably heading up towards 60, probably by the end of 2022. But we currently have 53. The network is going fantastically. Okay? I think the content creators are liking how it works. They're putting out some of the best material I've seen. So, for example, let's say you wanted to see a content creator's work, right? Let me just pick Dom Tremblay here, right? All you got to do is click his avatar in the creator section, and then you will go to his work. And as you see, we have some foreign language content creators, in this case, French language on some of his podcasts. I think we have some Dutch content creators, some Spanish content creators. So there is content in different languages as well. If you go to the creators page, I'll just take you through it. If you go to About here, this gives you the mission statement that you can read and the logo. Then if you go to the creators page, all of the content creators are listed here. Okay, so let's say you go to my page. Here's the work that I've put up on One Great Work Network. You can click into any of these articles. So, let's say my interview with Chris Jansen on End Evil. And then you could play it. If Odyssey cooperates, there we go. Wow, there we go. And doesn't look like audio was coming through on my laptop. Let's see what's going on there. No. Oh, it's muted. Sorry.
Different aspects,
there we go.
That I met someone that was
so you
that
can watch
had the
you can watch any content creator's content. You can go back by clicking on their name. You could donate to each individual content creator. So if I go to, let's say, Benny Wills, you could hit donate here, and he'll have his donation methods. Okay. So, unbelievable amount of content, Again, foreign language content creators, etc. We brought a couple of larger names on, like James Corbett and Larkin Rose. I'll click Keith Knight's page. You can see everybody has their own personal blog. Look at how many articles. I mean, and that there's like 7 pages, just for that one content creator. If we hit all, that is all content on the whole network. And you can see people just been really taking this very seriously and doing a great job. I would just want to send a shout out to all the content creators on One Great Work Network. You guys have been great to work with. I love the content you guys are putting out. Okay? So keep it up. Keep up the great work. You're an example for other people. And that's what One Great Work Network is all about. It's about setting an example. And I'll look at all these articles. This is just page 1. Right? And look at this. There's 10 pages. Or there's more than 10. I'm sorry. I don't even know how many there are. Let me go to the end. I'm sorry, there's 36 pages of articles within a year. So what is that? What's the figure there? Let me do the math real quick. I'll tell you how many total articles are on there. Yeah, there are 2,592 articles on One Great Work Network. So almost 2,600 articles in a year. So fantastic job, all content creators. I love what you guys have done, and keep it up. So you could also look at the live schedule. I actually have to add my own show to the schedule. I neglected to do that with all the other work I was doing setting up for the show. And, other content creators who go live on a weekly basis. So I'll add mine to the Sunday schedule there, probably later today. Then finally, you can hit the support button if you want to make a donation to One Great Work Network. We have a donation page there set up with many different donation options for the network to help keep it running, pay for costs associated with it, etc. So if you do like what you see on One Great Work Network, please visit the donate page and donate to help keep it going. All right, I'm going to briefly switch out of there. So let's go back to my slideshow. So far, self-presenting hasn't been terrible. Self-producing hasn't been terrible. It's been going pretty smooth. Hopefully it's coming out nice and smooth on the streaming end. Okay, so let's move forward. Okay, again, One Great Work Network website can be found at onegreatworknetwork.com. One Great Work Network. Just take it slow. A lot of people want to write One Great Network. It's One Great Work. Just start there, right? That's been what I've been trying to explain people need to get involved in doing, the One Great Work. So this is the network of people who are doing the One Great Work. So it's onegreatworknetwork.com. Just want to be very clear about what the website address is so that people type it in properly to get to it. Okay? And please do check it out and support the content creators individually if you like the work they're doing. Donate to them, not just the network. Please donate to the individual content creators. They're putting the work up here for free. I am putting the work out for free. So I kind of aggregated this. And let me just say this additionally. I'm acting as the aggregator and curator of One Great Work Network. So the domain is mine. It belongs to me. Okay. I procured the domain and put up the website with the help of some very talented individuals. Okay. So I want to thank Gabriel and the rest of the development team that helped me set up One Great Work Network. I just want to say that you might not like some of the content creators who are up there, and that's okay, right? You don't have to agree with everybody, and neither do I. Okay? That's very important to understand, folks, is we don't have to be in 1,000% agreement. So it is my decision whether I feel like they've put out good enough work to warrant being on the network, and they've done enough. Okay, so I'm going to be adding other content creators whose work that they like. I have a whole list, and I will make the offer. So if people want to put people's work before my consideration, right, they can suggest that. That's fine. But I make the ultimate decision about who I want to bring onto the network. I'm the sole curator. So I just want that clearly understood. And it's my determination as to whether their work has tried to explain objective morality, natural law, human freedom, help people understand what's going on in the world. And I feel if they've done a good job with that, then I will bring them onto the network. So, the other thing is that, again, I really don't want suggestions like, oh, I don't think this guy should be on your network. I don't think that guy should be on your network. I understand some people may disagree with what certain people say. They may disagree that other people might be better suited to the network. And wonderful, okay? Again, that's your opinion. And I have my opinion about the nature of these people's work and who belongs on the network. So again, I'm not really looking for suggestions. If I decide somebody's going on the network, they're going on the network. If I decide they're not, they're not. So suggestions on who you think I might want to look at their work is fine. But if I've already decided, like I'm bringing, I don't know, Andy Brookshire on the network or Bill Church, I'm not interested in people's opinion of their work and whether they belong on the network at that point. If I've made the decision that they're in, they're in. If I look at somebody's work and say, I don't think that's up to par, I'm not bringing them on the network, that's it. So this is my project, right? If you want to do something like this, you go do it. You can learn content management systems on the web, build a network, get people to on board, show them how to use it. That's what I did. Okay. So again, it's my decision when it comes to that. And I just want that to be clearly understood. So again, thank you to Gabriel Ferreira for helping out with all of this. Chris Nelson did a great job on back end work. I want to thank everybody who contributed. Okay. And all of the great artists, Tom Shepard, Steve Mealy, Becca Godwin, Will Keller, and many others whose names I'm probably just not recalling. It was a team effort, and I want to just say thank you to everybody involved, and you guys did a great job, and the network's going very well as far as content is concerned. I'd like to see the viewership bumped up, right? That hasn't been the hottest, right? But it is still new, and we're still promoting it and getting the word out there about it to people. Many people watching may not even know about it, and this may be the first they're hearing. Let's jump forward. February 14th, Valentine's Day of 2021. My presentation, The Deadly Pandemic That's Killed Anarchy, was released in video format at the Anarchapulco 2021 virtual conference. They had a small live event. I did not attend the live event. I just submitted my presentation video virtually. And I think it was very hard-hitting and impactful. Deadly Pandemic That's Killing Anarchy talks about, don't worry about the so-called COVID pandemic or plandemic or scamdemic. That's not what we need to be concerned about. We need to concern ourselves with the real pandemics that are taking place. Human ignorance, human apathy, human laziness. People not speaking out. People not understanding morality. These are the pandemics, folks. Okay? Lack of courage is a pandemic. Okay? Fear is a pandemic. Cowardice is a pandemic. Not some respiratory illness. If the media never told anybody anything was happening differently, nobody would know anything was happening differently. Okay? It's life as usual except for the tyranny. All right? And the media is complicit in that and should be totally ashamed of themselves. But they have no shame because they're satanic psychopaths. But anyway, I get into what the real psychological and interpersonal pandemics are at a soul level in this presentation. That's what it's all about. So again, that was Valentine's Day 2021, February 14th. An ongoing project that I had been doing with help from those at Autonomy Unlimited, still in partnership with Autonomy. You can click their banner on the homepage of my website. Tyler Bloyer and others at Autonomy helped me tremendously with this project of converting, or I shouldn't even say converting or moving. It was simply adding all my content to the Odyssey.com platform. And folks, I had to pick a platform for censorship proofing. Okay, I just had to do it. And for lack of a good choice of options, I went with Odyssey.com. And, you know, I'd love to see Odyssey really be the YouTube killer. I'd love to see it be in a powerful position where people in the alternative media community are very excited about using it. But I have to say publicly, and let me preface this with, I want to say publicly, I publicly want to put out there that I want Odyssey to succeed and be the YouTube killer. I want it to be the platform that people choose to put their content on, because I think it is robust in its censorship proofness because it's blockchain based. However, I must, in good conscience, say to the people who run the Odyssey platform, you guys have to improve your tech game. It's not good enough. People don't want to use this platform or even really watch content on this platform because of how inconsistent it is technologically. It really must improve considerably. And especially on your app, it needs better user interfaces, more the way that it's programmed by your developers has to be more in keeping with the operating system that it is released for, where you have native things like progress bars. You know, nobody wants to sit there and look at either nothing or a percentage. Like, you need to build progress bars into your app. You could keep the percentage there, but it's like there's no refinement or niceties whatsoever, you know? And it's slow, and the content is slow and cumbersome to manage. And when people see that, they just want to say, screw this. I'm just going to just keep dealing with YouTube, you know? And that's why I'm saying, if the makers of this platform are really caring about putting this information out to the public and helping to change the world, really invest the effort into hiring excellent developers, really invest the effort into upgrading your content delivery networks, really investing the effort in user interface and user experience, UI, UX, okay? And do it right. Do it with pride. Do it with enthusiasm and energy. Look, I'm the first person who will claim I don't want to have to do this garbage job of trying to enlighten humanity. I consider myself some schmuck from South Philadelphia that shouldn't even be involved in doing this. But unfortunately, I may understand more about morality and the entire slavery of this planet than almost any other individual alive. And so it's my personal responsibility. It becomes a moral obligation. And so I do it. And I do it to the best of my ability. Just because I'm bitter and I don't want to do it, and I'd rather have somebody else do it, doesn't mean that when I do it, I'm not doing it to the best of my ability. Now, that being said, yeah, did I streamline the show and scale it back a little? I did. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to come on here every week and to the best of my ability, deliver a good show and do it right. You know? So it's about taking pride in your work. And I hate to say this to the people at Odyssey because I like your platform and I want it to succeed. It just seems like you're not taking pride in your work. And that's a terrible thing to have to say to someone else. It's very disappointing. Okay? I'm not going to be mean about it. I'm going to say what I really think without being mean and say the effort has to be considerably improved. And I think all of my listenership, all of my viewership would highly agree with me on that point of contention. But that being said, between March 2021 and July of 2021, myself and helpers from the Autonomy Unlimited platform, run by Richard Grove of tragedyandhope.com, did undertake in what we call the What on Earth is Happening Odyssey upload project. We uploaded all of my content to Odyssey. Every single piece of content that I've ever put out is on the Odyssey platform now, censorship proofed, because this is a blockchain based platform and nobody can touch my content now. So thank you to Tyler especially and others who helped with the upload project. And, we got it done. It took a while. but it was done right, and it is out there on Odyssey. I would like to maybe in the future go to even another couple, one or two platforms with my content. I've considered Theta, which looks like it's pretty well done technologically. So I may accept Theta as a crypto for my gifts area and build some of that up so that I can host my content there as well. We'll see what happens. It's something I'm considering. So the Odyssey project, if you want to check that work out, odyssey.com/@ what on earth is happening. You do need the @ hashtag, right? So it's odyssey.com, my What on Earth is Happening channel, odyssey.com, and Odyssey is spelled ODYSEE.com /@ what on earth is happening, @ WOEIH. Okay, that is the URL. Let's move on. And I am having a lockup here. Give me a moment. All right. Let me reestablish connection. Sorry about the technical issue, folks. I'm going to reestablish my connection. Let's give it another shot. All right, not making a connection. My NDI connection has collapsed and I am not getting it back. Now it says it's connected. Let's try it again. Ah, there it is. There we go. See, that's the thing. So all the students of the How to Become the True Media seminar, all alumni of How to Become the True Media, take note. Don't take no for an answer. Persistence. Make it work. Okay? So here's where we were. Let's move forward. I will attempt to stabilize that in coming weeks. I really don't know what happened there, but hey, you power through it, right? That's the whole message of What on Earth is Happening. Regardless of what's going on, power through it and make it happen. You know, no wishing for it to happen. No throwing your hands up in the air. Oh, I don't know what happened. Make it happen. Persistence. Don't take no for an answer. Okay? And like I said, errors happen. I don't really even know what just happened. My NDI connection just stopped. It cut out. I don't know. It happens. You power through it. You make it work. You move on. One of the tenets in the How to Become the True Media seminar. So, May 15th, 2021, I delivered the presentation entitled Fake Ass Anarchists, one that I had been planning for a while, at the Seed 4 conference. Seed 4 was an awesome event. Want to thank the guys from Cubbyhole for hosting the event. It went really great. A lot of good presenters and a lot of attendance. So, very successful event. Brandon Martin, who had received the One Great Work award previously, was one of the hosts, along with Nate Cap. And those guys did an awesome job hosting the Seed event, as they have done previous years. So this past year in May, I was one of the presenters, and I delivered Fake Ass Anarchists, which is about all the people in the anarchist community who I don't consider, who say that they're anarchists, right? In name only. Anarchists in name only. Anarcho-communists, leftist anarchists. I even took a dig at anarcho-capitalists, I don't consider any hyphenated form of anarchy. There is only anarchy under the natural laws of the universe. That's it. Because anarchy has to do with morality. Because unless you understand morality, you will always be ruled by something else. Someone or something else will rule over you as your master and consider you their slave if you are immoral. The universe will bring that situation to you no matter where or when you are. It will force you into that position through its innate intelligence. And that's the hard thing, the hard time people have with understanding natural law. That's what natural law is, folks. It means if you are an immoral being, or if you are a member of an immoral community because they don't understand fully, in fullness, what objective morality means, the universe will always provide the situation by which you are enslaved. Natural law or karma will get you that way. It will make that happen by hook or crook. And people do not want to acknowledge or understand that. They want to insist, no, it doesn't work that way. Well, yes, it does work that way. That is exactly how it works. And the only real form of anarchy is when you understand that that's how the universe works, you align your behavior to the natural law morality. You align your behavior to natural law-based morality, not the morality of what any kind of a government tells you is moral, not the morality of what any religion in question and under consideration happens to consider what's moral in today's climate or in any place or time. No. All of that's morally relativistic. You align your behavior to the morality that is set in stone under natural law, which is what we teach here at What on Earth is Happening. And we delineate it and distinguish it from the morally relativistic so-called morality that government wants to claim or religion wants to claim or any individual wants to claim. No, there is an objective morality, and it can be known and learned and harmonized with. And that's the only form of anarchy. So I consider anybody that doesn't understand that a fake-ass anarchist. They're claiming that they understand anarchy, yet they don't really understand the natural dynamic of anarchy. They understand a constructural mental idea of anarchy, and that's not anarchy in nature. That's not anarchy in the real world. It's a difficult thing for many people to accept and to even understand, but it's true nonetheless. And to those ends, I may do an extended presentation on What on Earth is Happening of fake-ass anarchists as well, because it's that important to understand. So that was May 15th, 2021. Again, folks, Mark Passio is not doing anything during his hiatus, and we have another freeze. So I don't understand what is causing that. Let me check something here, and I apologize again for the issue, folks, but, yeah. No connection. It's not connecting. All right, we're back. And see, I'm getting a terrible frame rate there as well. Well, I apologize for that, but we're just going to have to power through it. June 21st of 2021, I put online a new domain, howtobecomethitruemedia.com. Now, I had been giving How to Become the True Media since July of 2020 and enrolling people since May of 2020. However, it didn't have its own website until June 21st, the summer solstice of 2021. So this is what the website looks like. And it's simply a one-page explanation of what the seminar is and how to enroll in it. Now, I will be updating this also within the next couple days to provide enrollment for, or at least not open the enrollment. The enrollment for, as you'll hear, for 2022 will be coming up in April. But I will be modifying the website to at least put the new information about the 2022 schedule. And then I'll open enrollment on April 1st. So I want to step out of my slides momentarily and show you the website. So let me get it ready here on the screen and then switch over. There we go. So this is the, and I'll make this full screen, why not? This is the howtobecomethetruemedia.com domain, okay? And you could see you could hit enroll now. Now, if you hit that, there will be nothing found on gifts because I haven't opened enrollment. So I'll probably hide these buttons not to confuse people until enrollment opens when I update the site. But this was about the seminar for 2021. And it tells you all the skills that are going to be involved. You know, it says enrollment is currently closed. And, you know, gives a couple of caveats here about how enrollment works and an email address should you want to inquire about it. And that's it. That's really all it is. It's a very simple one-page website, responsive design. So, you know, if I take this out of full screen mode, yeah, the design is fully responsive. So if you shrink it, it goes all the way down to cell phone layout. So this is one of the things I've been focusing on is fully responsive layouts for mobile devices. And of course, How to Become the True Media was made in responsive design mode. So let me just step out there, go back to my slides. All right. Next, How to Become the True Media 2022, ladies and gentlemen, will be coming up. So this was the title card for 2021. We did it every Thursday. And it's a 3-hour class for 23 weeks, 1 day a week for 23 weeks. So, you know, that's a big investment of time, but what you will learn will be invaluable. And we did it from July to December. So we only wrapped up a few weeks back in mid-December for the 2021 class. Now, next, July 15th of 2021. July 15th is when I'll step back a slide. That's when we started the seminar. So July 15th began the seminar. We ended only a few weeks back in mid-December. August 11th, 2021, the Mark Passio and the Science of Natural Law documentary was finally finalized and printed. Now, I know I missed my target date. Of course, these projects often go to make a formal documentary will often go later than the intended target date. Now, I know I said I wanted to put it out in 2020, and I didn't make that target date. It slipped by 8 months, actually. And, you know, I explained before it was only a potential target date, and I thought we would be able to meet it, but it slipped. And that's okay, because you know why? I'd rather it come out looking and presenting the message the way I want it to be perceived by people rather than rushed and put out early. And I am very, very happy and proud with how this documentary came out. I want to thank both Leah Boone, who was associate producer for the project. Leah has since parted ways with What on Earth is Happening. We parted ways back in February over some professional differences, and it's private between me and her. That's all I'll say about that. But I wish her well in everything she does in the future. And Joel Torres, who was the video editor for the project, and everybody else involved, just did a fantastic job and put 100% effort into this. So I want to thank them for their talents and contributions to the project. So when we finalized it, I published it, of course, on flash drive and DVD, put it in the gifts area first. And let me show you what those items look like. This is the front cover of the DVD with the Flower of Life motif. I believe that was done by Brett Hatton. And Tom Shepard, he did some of the design work inside the actual documentary, in the actual 3D graphics, and many other people as well. They're all in the credits of the film. This is what it looks like on DVD. That's the DVD box and disc. And then we release it. Now, on the DVD, it's not going to be in HD because it's DVD, resolution. But HD, the actual HD MP4 file of this documentary was released on flash drive. That's what the flash drive looks like. Nice, attractive, black USB 3.0 flash drive with a keychain with the artwork on it attached. So, yes, let me hold right there. So, we put out that documentary August 11th. It is now out for free. As everyone should know, I put some of my work out exclusively on my gifts area first to make some resources for What on Earth is Happening when it first comes out. And usually about 90 days later, 3 months, I'll release it for free. So you can now, of course, get Mark Passio and the Science of Natural Law, my debut feature-length documentary. You could get it for free online now. Or if you want to support What on Earth is Happening, you can get it at gifts.whatonearthishappening.com. Now, regarding gifts.whatonearthishappening.com, my gifts area, unfortunately, I was hit suddenly with the news that I was banned from PayPal. They would not tell me why. They just said you cannot use PayPal anymore on October 1st of 2021. So the first day of October, I get an email and a notification in PayPal that I can no longer use PayPal as a payment system, as a personal payment system. So unfortunately, I can no longer accept PayPal for anything. Not as a donation, not on my gifts area. And I have since realized that this has happened because the owners of PayPal and the board of directors at PayPal has partnered with the ADL. For those of you who don't know what ADL stands for, it's the Anti-Defamation League. And I've never said anything defamatory against Semitic or Jewish people in the history of my broadcasting career. But apparently ADL doesn't care about that because they're fakes and phonies and psychopaths and losers. And really what they are is they're anti-government speech. So if you say anything bad against government, the ADL will actually come after you and try to get your financial resources banned from you. This is what they really are, because the ADL is run by the intelligence agencies of America, namely the CIA, the NSA, the DOD, the DIA, the NRO, and other alphabet soup organizations. And they are nothing about actually protecting Jewish or Semitic peoples. ADL and PayPal, you guys are a laughing fucking joke. No one takes you seriously anymore. Everybody knows that you're government colluding losers, and you could go to hell. We don't need you. We don't need your services. Okay, so we'll use alternatives for the time being. Okay, now, when I got banned from PayPal, I picked up Cash App as a system of donation for accepting donations for the gifts area. And I picked up GPay, which is Google Pay. I'll talk about that when I talk about the redesign of the gifts website. But there are alternatives, and it appears that Cash App and GPay don't really work well for international people, for people that are outside the United States. So for an international system, I'm looking at something called Wise. And I'm not sure. Wise used to be something else. I'm not sure if it was Square or something like that. But anyway, it was some other company that is now called Wise. And I've heard that it's an excellent option for international payments. I'm going to be looking into it and possibly setting it up as a payment system, not payment, but a donation system on gifts soon. So keep an eye out for that, and we'll see where that goes. But no one can now donate to What on Earth is Happening or One Great Work Network via PayPal because of their utter loser connection with ADL. So that was my ban from PayPal on October 1st. October 22nd, 2021, I delivered the Fear of Sacrifice in the Freedom Movement presentation, which was part of the Conscious Resistance. Derek Brose, one of the content creators on One Great Work Network and a freedom activist for many, many years. He runs an organization called the Conscious Resistance, and he gave a tour that he called the Activation Tour. And he asked me to be a part of that, and I accepted. And I delivered this presentation live in person in Germantown section of Philadelphia on October 22nd of 2021. It went great. We recorded it. It is now available in the gifts section of my website, and I will put it out for free probably at the spring equinox right around then. So that was October 22nd, 2021. Folks, I don't do anything during my hiatus, don't you know? Where's Mark? What's he doing? Why isn't he doing anything? Why aren't you doing anything, man? And it looks like I have a duplicate there. I apologize. Just knock that out. Oh, boy. Okay. November 11th, 2021. This was the anniversary of What on Earth is Happening. It is the exact 14-year anniversary, November 11th. I started What on Earth is Happening 11/11/7. 11/11/21 was our 14th year anniversary. On that day, I launched the redesigned What on Earth is Happening website. Tom Shepard made the new logo, and this is what the new site looks like. And I have, unfortunately, a couple of mistakes here. Let me just correct it. I know I'm being a stickler here, but I want it to work right. This is what the website looks like. WhatOnEarthIsHappening.com. New responsive design. So I'm going to show it to you now. So let me step out of the presentation for a moment and show you the website. All right, let me jump back over. All right, let me jump back over. I'm going to mute it because it is on, obviously, playing the show. We don't want that confusion. Here we go. So I'll make it full screen as well. This is WhatOnEarthIsHappening.com redesigned. As you can see, the show is going on live on the home page. I'm announcing the availability of Fear of Sacrifice there. The documentary is up there for free. The ARC offer, my welcome article. But you see, nicely redesigned. Doesn't look 100% drastically different than the old site. However, it is updated in a modern look and feel. And it is fully responsive. And that's the key. You know, I really wanted to make these sites fully responsive, folks, because I know a lot of people are viewing them on mobile layouts, on mobile devices. And my old site, you had to like pinch in to read things, you know. But, you know, we're going to have to do a little bit of extra work with the, because I just added a new, I'm seeing it's cutting off that one, those two menu items, or three really. So I'm going to readjust that in the CSS. But it's fully responsive. When it gets down to mobile layout, you have a mobile menu, which works nicely. And you can go all the way down to cell phone layout with this, and everything works and is fully responsive and readable. Okay? So that is the new and improved What on Earth is Happening website with a new look and feel that is fully responsive for mobile devices. Long overdue, admittedly. But, I gave the old website a good 10-year run and, decided to start working on the new design. And I think it looks great. I think it works great. I think people will like it when they use it. It still has the same ease of use and, usability to it. So thank you to everyone who helped with the redesign. Gabriel was much help in that. Gabriel Ferrara helped me with the layout, and Will and Becca did a great job, and Tom with graphics. So thank you to everyone involved. So that was 14 years to the date of the beginning of What on Earth is Happening that we released the redesigned What on Earth is Happening website. Now I'll stay here and show you the new gifts area because less than 2 weeks later, we launched the redesigned What on Earth is Happening donation gifts. So let's go to that. So I have it bookmarked. I'm just going to jump to it in a bookmark. This is the redesigned donation gifts. Let me make it 100%. There it is. And you see it has a similar look. Let me take off the dark reader here. That's what it really should look like. It has a similar look and feel to What on Earth is Happening. I really cleaned up the interface here, made it look a nice dark mode look to it. All of the items are randomized on the front page. Categories are listed both down the side of the page, where you can go to categories or even subcategories. Okay, let's say I click flash drives here. You can see all the flash drives that are available for a donation. If you click into, let's say, the complete Passio One Great Work collection, which has been a very popular item, which has all my work on one drive, you can click into the artwork. Some of the artwork here is new and improved graphics, where I show the front and back of everything. Okay. And, then you could add it to your basket if you want to make a donation to receive that item. You could also get to categories here at any time by clicking the categories button. And I've loaded basic categories here. So if you wanted to look at whatever men's t-shirts designs are available, you could just click that and it'll take you into the category from there. You can return to home at any time. We have the same slider on the front page in this design of this layout. So you could look at some items, and if you see one that attracts your attention, you can click on that and it'll take you to the item. Then you could read about the site on the About page. There's a disclaimer of how to use the site and what it is and is not, and how it works and how it doesn't, which is a little bit lengthy, but very important. And then there's a contact page to get a hold of us if you have an issue with any one of your items. Of course, this is also fully responsive for mobile layouts. And that was one of the things that I really wanted to do and make it look right, because we had not had a responsive layout for this as well. And that could really make it a challenge to get something on your phone, to order something on your phone. Now, let me just briefly explain the payment methods, okay? So I'll hit About here. I'll hit How to Use and explain that these are the new payment methods that are accepted. And I have to remove Bitcoin SV. I've removed Bitcoin SV from this. I just didn't remove it from the How to Use. So it's Cash App, GPay, or currently 5 cryptocurrencies: Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Ethereum, and Dash. I'm going to be probably adding Solana and Theta as cryptos that I accept for donations. So curious to see what people think of those choices, but those are my other altcoins that I tend to like. Like I said, especially Theta, Solana because it's used for NFTs, and Theta because it is used to stake video content on the Theta.tv platform. So more likely than not, those are going to be 2 cryptos that I'll be adding and dealing with for donations in the gifts area. I have already removed Bitcoin SV because of problems that coin has had with its creator and in the crypto community. So I will not be going back to using Bitcoin SV. Just letting people know. And of course, PayPal is long since removed from this site. So this was November 21st, 2021. We released this new and improved version of gifts.whatonearthishappening.com, where you can get hard copies or t-shirts, hard copies of my work, t-shirts, other ancillary accessory items, etc. for a donation to the cause. Now, after that, I want to talk about something huge, okay? So let me briefly switch back out of that and go back to the donation. Go back to the presentation. Just give me one moment. All right. Hopefully we have no more hiccups. Yes, so this was the redesigned gifts.whatonearthishappening.com. That's the redesigned gifts area, and that's the URL, gifts.whatonearthishappening.com. Now, January 4th, just before returning to the show and coming out of hiatus, I announced on the site a brand new project called the What on Earth is Happening IPFS project. Now, I know some people know what IPFS is, some people do not. So let me briefly explain in a moment what IPFS is, okay? But you can read about this project at whatonearthishappening.com/IPFS, okay? So if you want to know more about it, go to whatonearthishappening.com/IPFS. IPFS is a protocol, a file system, and a piece of software that enables someone anywhere in the world to share content or to access content that is on this distributed network and distributed file system. It's distributed over any computer that is using the software. So if you run the IPFS software on your computer, you connect to the network and file system, and any of the files that are shared on that file system are available to you to download or for you to also host and share. Very simple. It's like BitTorrent without the torrent files. It's like BitTorrent without the trackers. You don't need a tracker to host the torrent file or the magnet link. It's just searchable and available on the file system. So, what I decided to do, and it's different than the way other people do this, folks. That's the first thing I want to say. Other people who have decided to do any type of IPFS project will have their own methods. They'll have their own way that they want it done, and that's great. That's fine. That's what this is all about, right? People who host their content, other people help them host it. They could have it done the way they want it, and that's great. And I don't discourage that. However, that's not what my IPFS project is. The What on Earth is Happening IPFS project, I want to do it a different way that will actually lower the amount of people that will want to do it. Now, that seems counterintuitive, right? However, I'm a tech guy. I worked in tech my whole life. And I have my own feelings about how tech should work. I have my own understanding of it. And I've seen every conceivable type of failure. Believe me when I tell you. I have seen people screw up technology in ways you can't even conceive or imagine in my line of work professionally over the years. I have seen things done for such ridiculous, illogical, or nonsensical reasons that you literally have to hold your head in your hands and give a face palm to it. Okay. However, that being said, I've learned from those failures and ways that it's done wrong or ways that it's done in a complicated way that leads to further and other complications. Now, the first thing about this project that I'm going to say before I even take you to the website and read a little bit more about it is, or actually maybe I won't do that now. I'll take you to the website and then I want to tell you the first major thing about it is that it is going to be separate from any other computer that you use. And there's a reason for that. There's a technical reason for that, and I'm going to explain it. But let me first explain what this project is. So I'll tell you what, I'll just step out of here live and then bring up the site. Here's the site. And I'll leave this in the window while I talk about it. Let me zoom in a bit. Great. I could even, I think it was good at 100. Okay. So let's read about what the project is and what IPFS is. Okay. So it says here, the What on Earth is Happening IPFS project. Help make What on Earth is Happening content censorship proof. So I think that's something that not only do I want, I would hope that it's something that my viewership and listenership wants. You want to see this content survive online. You don't want to see it censored and go away. And this is great. I think this project is great for, and I'm gonna actually do a little bit of an extended presentation about this project, and then we're going to go to your calls. I will be taking calls in the third hour of the show. whatonearthishappening.com/show. You can now reach it through a widget right on the webpage, or you can go to whatonearthishappening.com/discord if you have the Discord app installed. So calls coming up in about 15 minutes or so. But I want to tell people a little bit more about this project because I think it's one of the most important undertakings that I'm venturing out into. So I would hope that people want to see my content not censored and that it survive the censorship assaults of big tech. And if you're the kind of person who hasn't done your own work, you do put your name into Google or any other search engine in double quotes, right? Type your name, your full name in double quotes, right? So right up here, Mark Passio, right? Type that with double quotes around it and see what comes up. Then type your own name with double quotes around it and see what comes up. And unless you're the kind of person that is already putting information out into the world, like people on the One Great Work Network and others, you probably should be horrified and completely embarrassed by what you see when you put your own name in there, unless you're some other kind of a public figure. But I'm saying, look at what aspects of the One Great Work is attached to your name when you put your name in double quotes, and then tell me what you see, what comes back. I guarantee you it's nothing or practically nothing. And again, I'm going to do whole shows on What on Earth is Happening. What are the mental firewalls that are preventing people from doing something in that realm? What's the psychological fear factor involved? We're going to make pro and con lists. I'm going to have you look at them together. And hopefully it will register. These con reasons here are just that. They're conning me. They're telling me a story in my mind. This isn't true. This is illusory. This should be no reason that all these pros should be ignored and not activated to help get these things done. But we'll see. It might help some. It might not help others. People might still be really totally blocked, have to do other kinds of shadow work first. But I'm going to give it a shot, and it'll be a topic of future shows. So let's read this page. Would you like to help make all of the content that Mark Passio has created and published to the world completely censorship-proof? Because that's what you could do with the IPFS project. This is a way for you to get involved in distributing Mark's work to even more people and making sure it cannot be censored by big tech or anyone else. So, once again, and let's go full screen with this because it's that important. And let's go totally full screen here. And let's make this bigger so it's very readable. That's good. Okay? So I've read this first paragraph. If you're the kind of person that does not yet have your own work, so you're not actively engaged yourself in doing the One Great Work, this is a way at relatively minimal cost. Is there cost associated? Yes, but it doesn't go to me. I take no donation. The donation is your internet bandwidth. Okay? So you're not paying me. You're not giving me a donation. Your donation is you're helping me make my work censorship proof. That's your donation in the What on Earth is Happening IPFS project. Okay? So let's continue reading about what IPFS is. So what is IPFS? IPFS stands for Interplanetary File System. IPFS is a decentralized, distributed, internet-based file system, protocol, and software utilized for the purpose of storing, sharing, and accessing files from anywhere in the world in a way that makes censorship of those files virtually impossible. Read more about IPFS here, and then you could either click on the little graphic here that has the IPFS blue cube, which is their logo, or on this link here that says ipfs.io. And in a new page, it will take you to IPFS, the official page. And you could download, you could read about it. You could download the software. So if you hit install here, this is what you would want to install, IPFS desktop. And then you could download it for your operating system from their GitHub site. So GitHub, people may not be fully understanding of what it is or how it works, and that's okay. You just want to scroll down to releases, right? This is where you want to be, releases, right? And just hit the latest release. Just hit this green button that says latest. Then that'll take you to their latest releases. And then you'll see here, this is the list of software packages that you could download for each operating system. So there's some for different variants of Linux. Okay. So, most people will probably be using this one, which is the 64-bit version. It's probably the one I'll recommend if you're running Linux. Very few people will be running Linux, except more technical-oriented people. So that's probably the one, this tar.xz is what you're going to want. If you're running Mac, I highly suggest the DMG. You could also get the zip file of the app, but I like to get DMGs when they're available, so I would use this one that says 121 megabytes. If you're on a PC, a Windows computer, I should say, you're going to want the setup exe program right here. Okay? So the ones that I recommend are Linux x64, clocking in at 87.7 megabytes. If you're on the Mac, the DMG, 121 megabytes. And if you're on Windows, the setup exe, which is 90.4 megabytes. Those are the ones that I recommend that people download for their appropriate operating system. So that's how you get the software. Now, I'm not telling anyone to do that now. I'm just showing you this. Okay? So let's continue. What is an IPFS node? An IPFS node is a computer that is connected to and sharing a set of files on the IPFS distributed network. So let's say you wanted to share, if you had like a series, let's say you did a 6-part documentary series or 5-part documentary series and you have 5 videos. You want to put them on IPFS. If you share those on IPFS through the IPFS desktop software, you're essentially hosting an IPFS node. What is the IPFS? What is the What on Earth is Happening IPFS project? So we are now right here. Okay? So this explains what the project actually is. You have to know what IPFS is and what a node is before understanding what is the project. The What on Earth is Happening IPFS project is a private offer for those who wish to set up an IPFS node utilizing my own, meaning Mark Passio's own, personal methods and technical assistance, meaning you'll be doing the setup of the node my way with my technical help. Technically, you won't even be setting up anything. I will be setting it up. Okay? And I'll explain a little bit in a moment about how that will work. And I think this is very important for people who take the information I've put out over the years about IPFS seriously. on What on Earth is Happening seriously, because IPFS will further immortalize this work, this body of work. Because once it's on here, it's not able to be censored by anybody. It really already is not able to be censored since it's on Odyssey. But let's say they take out the website. What if they ban the domain? Who knows? I'm not saying that that's going to happen. I'm saying that's not impossible, right? This is called the permanent web, Web 3.0, if you will. Many people will call it that, okay? And, you know, this is helping to really make the work uncensorable. So, the node that you create will be a file server on your own network, your own internet connection. You'll host a file server. That's what the IPFS software will help you to do. It will be a file server for the material that I've put out into the world through What on Earth is Happening. You'll be hosting all my material. Essentially, you will be donating your own internet bandwidth to host the entire body of Mark Passio's work on the IPFS network, and in doing so, you will help to make it censorship-proof once and for all. If you think you'd like to be involved in this project, fill in and submit the form on this page below. Once you do so, you can download the Project Requirements and Procedures PDF document. So I don't give you that up front unless you sign this form. So once you sign it, you'll get the PDF document. Now in there, I'm not going to bring that up right now, okay? Because I'd rather go to your calls in a few minutes instead of read through that document. It is a restrictive set of requirements and procedures, admittedly. And this is because I don't want just any schmo hosting my node. I want it to be people who have a commitment to doing something the right way. And guess what, folks? This is the right way to do it. And again, other people will vehemently disagree with me about how I'm going to do this and set it up. But guess what? That's okay. They can do it their way. I personally want to do it a different way. I'd rather have less people doing it right than more people doing it in a way that's going to be a total mess. Okay? So, the only thing I really want to tell you that I will not be running this software on your existing computer. And here's why, folks. I don't want to open a file server to the network on a computer that anyone who helps to host this material for me has personal data on. Let me say that again. Listen. See, this is where everybody has their own little clockwork gnomes running through their own mind, right? And they're not listening. They're thinking, I've said this over and over, they're thinking what they want to think. Stop thinking whatever you're thinking about this project and listen. It isn't putting the software on your existing computer and running it. That's not what it is. It's a dedicated computer that you will bring into your home. You will have to purchase a dedicated computer. I give you a list of approved computer setups. You will buy them. We will install the operating system from scratch. We will install the software from scratch. We will host the data on a separate drive, not even on the internal drive that the operating system runs on. And we will share that on the IPFS software. That is essentially the setup. I don't want to touch your computer. I don't want to be invasive in your computer. I don't want to take any chance whatsoever that any of your data is put at risk at all. Your computer will not be used for this project. Let me say this again so that you understand what's going to be involved if you sign that form and download the requirements document. That still doesn't mean you're in the project. I have to approve you for the project. This project, if you're going to do it with my assistance, requires my manual approval to you personally that you may host an official or a certified What on Earth is Happening node. If you want to do it on your own, you are free to do this entirely on your own any way you want right now. But that doesn't involve my method or my assistance. You will receive no assistance on my part if you host an IPFS node on your own. If you want to be part of this project, you have to follow the procedures that I have laid out to be accepted into the project. And then from there on, It is to be done my way for reasons of protecting your own data and technical reasons of doing it as according to my informed professional opinions are the correct technical methods of doing this. So, once again, you may not host a What on Earth is Happening IPFS node on your own computer if you get my assistance as part of the What on Earth is Happening IPFS project. If you want to do that, you're on your own. And that's not the What on Earth is Happening IPFS project. Okay? So, if you are interested, it will involve a separate mini computer. We're going to do this with either a Mac Mini or a PC Mini. Okay? And I have a very small list of approved computers that it can be used on. And you could run any OS. You could run Mac OS on the Mac Mini, or if you buy a PC Mini, you can run Windows or Linux. The choice of operating system is yours. The setup is not your choice. I will set up the OS. I will set up the software. I will provide the drive. You will essentially be getting what is called the complete One Great Work Mark Passio collection solid state drive. That data will provide the data for the IPFS project. You will not be able to run the node your way, but you will not have to administrate the node. In other words, you'll only really have to alert me if there's a problem with the node. And then there will be remote software where I can only connect to that node remotely and troubleshoot. And you got to understand how big of a commitment of time this is for me. That I am going to personally install and potentially troubleshoot these systems, these nodes. And the one other thing I have to make clear is this is for English-speaking people only. And that has nothing to do with me discriminating against anyone. I only speak English, and this is a highly technical, not highly technical, but it's a semi-technical project. Clear communication must be maintained at all times. So if you don't speak fluent English, I'm sorry, but I cannot have a translator translate between us. It is for fluent English-speaking people only to help with the What on Earth is Happening IPFS project. So I think that clearly explains what the project is. I'm very excited about this. I don't know how many people will be interested in getting involved because there is a cost commitment. And I'll tell you right now, you will probably have to spend to host one of these nodes on your internet bandwidth. I'm going to be honest about the cost. It will be probably around $1,000, maybe a little bit under $1,000 to set this up in your home. It will not take up much space. There will be an additional monitor, okay? But the computers are very small, maybe about 8 to 10 inches on a side. So that can be tucked anywhere. The monitor is going to be a slightly sizable monitor because I don't want you, if you need to do anything working with a small monitor, and yes, it will not be run headless. There will be a monitor attached for easy administration and troubleshooting should that need to be done. Okay, so the total cost is around $1,000, give or take, but not much more than that, even if you buy like the best equipment. And you probably could get away with under it if you have some of the equipment already. If you already own, like, let's say, a monitor, a keyboard, and a mouse, you won't have to purchase those. You only have to purchase the mini PC. But as it says in the PDF document, absolutely do not purchase any equipment at all until I personally accept you as part of the What on Earth is Happening IPFS project and approve you to host a node, because the first thing is that you need certain internet bandwidth, and that means you need at minimum 200 megabits per second in the upstream direction. Now that will disqualify 90% of people right off the bat. Let me just say that again before we go to your calls. You will need a 200 megabit per second or greater upstream internet connection. Not download, upload. That will disqualify probably about 90% of people who even want to do it. And that's okay. I'm not worried about those people. I'm worried about the people who can do it. All right, let me go back to this in window here. So, if you don't meet the requirements, don't worry about it. Look at them, see if you want to upgrade to the requirements if you really want to do it. And there is cost associated with it, not going to lie, right? However, what you will be providing is the ability to host these files so that they can never be censored. So, consider it if you're even slightly technically oriented, and you don't really even need to be technically oriented. You need to know how to plug in a computer, run a cable to the computer, plug in a monitor, a keyboard, and a mouse, and turn it on. I'll basically do just about everything from there. Okay? So this is an ability to get involved in spreading my information if you yourself haven't really done that much and put information out into the world on your own. So it's something for people out there to consider who might want to help with the one great work without actually putting their own voice out there. Although I always recommend putting your voice out there is the best way, this is an ancillary way to help out if you're not already doing that. Okay, so this was announced January 4th, and that was the last of the things I did during my hiatus. I think you'll agree, if you're a sane human being, that's a considerable amount of work that most people never even do in a lifetime. Not even close. Okay? So the broadcasting hiatus comes to an end today, January 9th, 2022. And again, just to reiterate, this show will be live every Sunday from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time from January through June. Now, let's jump forward again. Let me step out and go back into my slides because there is actually a couple more slides. So that's the What on Earth is Happening IPFS project. And I have loss of connection yet again. Oh, there it goes. I don't know why it takes a while to snap back in there. There we go. It's lagging. There we go. Okay. Hopefully it'll catch up. So, things that are coming up in the future. How to Become the True Media 2022 is coming up this July. Okay? So if you don't have the skill sets to do any of this July I'll be hosting the third How to Become the True Media seminar, class of 2022. I call this an online technology skill sharing seminar. It's an intensive 23-week seminar. I'll be teaching 3 hours each Wednesday. I'm going to move to Wednesday this year. Okay. I hosted it on Tuesdays, year one. For personal reasons, I don't want to do it on Tuesdays. I'd rather avoid beginning and ending of the week. So I want to do it in the middle. This year, or last year, I should say, I did it on Thursdays, and Thanksgiving, intervened, and I had to switch that. So to avoid that, I'm going to do it Wednesday this coming year in 2022. And it will be hosted every Wednesday, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Time will be the actual class. We are moving to Telegram platform. I've tested this. It's working quite well. It will no longer be hosted on Zoom. It will now be hosted on Telegram. There will be simple setup instructions to get Telegram on your laptop or desktop computer. You do not want to take this on a phone or a tablet. You want to take the seminar on a laptop or desktop computer. A desktop is preferred with a large screen. The Telegram platform does have desktop software. So you will need to download the app on your phone for initial setup. If you don't already have Telegram running on your phone, then you could download the desktop version of the software. So let's show you that real quick. So let's go to the browser and let's go to Telegram. Nope, sorry. All right. So Telegram's site is desktop.telegram.org. Okay, and then you could download it for your own operating system. Let me make this larger. As a matter of fact, let me just go to full screen mode. So there's the URL, desktop.telegram.org, to get the desktop version of the software, and you can download it for your own operating system that you're running. Okay? That's it. And it's telegram.org is the main website. Then you just hit apps to get there. That's really all you have to do. And then hit Telegram for Mac, Windows, Linux, and then download it for your OS. Okay? Then all you have to do is link. It'll give you a QR code when you open it for the first time, and you link it through your phone. You go into the settings of Telegram on your phone, and then you go to linked devices, and then you'll have Telegram running on your desktop. Now, that being said, I am also going to offer when I do the seminar this year. There will be an enrollment option via check or money order. This is something I haven't done in the past with How to Become the True Media. It had to be done through digital donation. But because I lost PayPal, I will be not only opening enrollment early this year on April 1st, but I will be accepting personal check or money order to enroll in the class. I also will be giving out to people on the One Great Work Network scholarships because of the work that they've done to come on board and improve their existing skill set. But to bring in resources for What on Earth is Happening, there will be obviously a cost to attend this 23-week seminar. And I will be making it easier for people even to enroll by accepting check and money order. So that's the announcement about How to Become the True Media 2022. This will be starting July 13th, 2022, and it will be running each Wednesday, 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern U.S. time until December 14th, 2022. That's a total of 23 class sessions for the year of 2022. And enrollment, there will be limited space available for the seminar. We will not be opening enrollment until April 1st of 2022. That's all the slides. I want to end with the 3 quotes that I actually gave in show number 236 before going to our call-ins. Lysander Spooner said, "The principle that the majority have a right to rule the minority practically resolves all government into a mere contest between two bodies of men, as to which of them shall be masters and which of them slaves. This is for the people who are still confused or don't really deeply understand that government is slavery. Because this is where we ultimately need to get to, folks, and we need to help other people to get there by speaking out into the world." Going back to Spooner's quote, "This is a contest that, however bloody, can, in the nature of things, never be finally closed, so long as man refuses to be a slave." And that's just it. Are we seeing that refusal, that steadfast refusal, or are we seeing complicity and cooperation with tyranny and slavery? I don't know who needs to hear this, but it wasn't the government that destroyed your freedoms. It was you complying with tyranny. And finally, society is splitting in two. People who are driven by fear, who want to be ruled over, and people who are driven by love and want to be free. That's the real dynamic, folks. It isn't even left versus right. It isn't Republican versus Democrat, conservative versus liberal. Many people have even suggested it's city dwellers versus people in the countryside or rural areas of the country. It's not even really that. It's people who are driven by fear, who want other people to rule over them and be responsible for them instead of them being responsible for themselves. And people who are driven by the real, true dynamic of love, not the romantic dynamic or the romantic notion of love, but the true notion of agape love, of people who want to be free themselves and want others to be free, who take on the personal responsibility of developing and bringing freedom into the world and securing it in our world. So with that being said, I'm going to open up the call lines via Discord, whatonearthishappening.com/Discord, or you could try out the new widget on whatonearthishappening.com/show. Couple of quick plugs. Don't forget the ARC 2.0 offer is available. whatonearthishappening.com/ARC. Make yourself available of this knowledge. We need depth of knowledge, and the only way you're going to get that is to have that information at your disposal. Uncensorable, can plug into any computer with a USB port. If you're inclined to want hard copies of my work or to simply help the What on Earth is Happening effort, please visit What on Earth is Happening donation gifts at gifts.whatonearthishappening.com. You can get flash drives, DVDs, t-shirts, keychains, stickers, coasters, etc. All available there for the many donation methods that we make available and accept. Please do follow those instructions, however, and read the instructions and how to use, and donate at gifts.whatonearthishappening.com. If you want to make a straight donation, there are, I believe, about 12 or 13 different ways to make a straight donation. But I actually might be less now because I think it still has, it doesn't have PayPal up there, but it still says it. I have to take that down from text. I removed it from the actual logo section, but I didn't change it on the text area. But if you want to make a straight donation to the whatonearthishappening.com cause, please visit whatonearthishappening.com/donate. And many donation methods are listed on that page. So that's all I have for slides. Let's go to your calls. So let's jump back here. And let me get ready to take calls with my headset here, which I have to use for the secondary laptop that I have set up. Hopefully this goes smoothly. All right, folks. Taking your calls via Discord. Here we go. Let's go to Brandon. Brandon, you're live on What on Earth is Happening. You will need to unmute yourself. Brandon, try to speak. You should be live. I see you unmuted yourself. You are unmuted at the server end as well. So it looks like he might be having some technical issues. I'll mute you and go to someone else. Let's hear from Linus, former caller. Linus, are you there? Unmute yourself, please. No, there might be an issue here. Let's check it. Tech problems, folks. It's all I deal with almost all day. Linus, you're still muted on your end. So let's hear from Patty Lager. Content creator on the One Great Work Network. Patty, are you there? Not hearing you. So it looks like I have some troubleshooting to do on the server end, unfortunately. I thought that this was working. I haven't really gone into a lot of... let's try this. I haven't gone into a lot of testing since I went off the air, which I probably should have. apologize again, folks. It's trying to save. I think I have an internet connection on this computer is what's happening. That's why it was so so slow in showing the slides and doing transitions. There might be a problem with Wi-Fi here. Let's try it again. I'm going to have to probably quit out of Discord and relaunch it. So, again, this happens, and I apologize, but it's what I'm taking on to do this here myself, and so be it. And Discord is stuck in its checking for update mode. Now it's finally saying it's starting, and it's ultra slow, and I'm not really sure why. So let's go for this again. All right, Patty, I'm going to bring you into here and then unmute you. If you could please just join the, I'll call it live channel. You'll be able to see it in a moment when I make you live. If I can save this change, it saved it finally. I'm going to bring you into the live channel. Please accept that and then unmute yourself. And now we should hear you. It was the other button to unmute. Let's try it again. Accept to go into live and unmute. And I'll unserver mute you and we should hear you. You're joining the call-in room instead of live. So I'm going to move you into a new call-in room because we have a problem on the call-in room. If you just go to the server again and then join the live room. So you'll have to go back to the main server. And instead of joining call-in room, join live for now. I'll fix this by next week. You're in live now. So now simply unmute your microphone. Or if you're in push to talk mode, hit push to talk and hold it down while you speak. No, not working. All right, let's see if we can try it with Brandon. Brandon, unmute yourself and accept to go into the live room. Brandon, are you there? No, I'm going to have to abandon it, unfortunately, folks. We're not going to be able to take calls. I need more troubleshooting and testing with this, unless I simply sit here and do it on the air. Maybe I could just do that. It's a permissions issue with Discord, unfortunately. And I am not able to bring people on, even though I didn't touch these permissions. So that's the problem, is let's say let them use voice activity. Maybe that is a permission that needed to be on. All right, let's go back to Patty and see if we can hear her now. Go ahead, Patty. Check. You're muted, so no. Let's try Brandon again. Brandon, can you hear me? Well, you know, this is typical of Discord, honestly, and I'm very disappointed with that as well. This is part of the problem that I need to speak about more, folks, is software developers don't do a good job with their software. We're in such a bad place when it comes to software development in general in the world that we have you coming through.
Hey, what's going on, Mark? How you
Good.
doing?
I'm glad that I was able to resolve it. I really didn't want to abandon it, but I was going to have to. But you know what? This is the problem, that software developers are just so bad at their jobs. Everything is so convoluted. There's no good interface design. Things technically work halfway they don't. You know, I wanted to broadcast live on Telegram, but to do that, I need NDI inside Telegram working. And as soon as you switch to NDI, on the Mac at least, it's just an endless cycle. NDI input is broken in Telegram, and I don't even know whether the developers know it. And it's part of a whole culture of screw it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We're not putting any additional effort into it. And it just makes people look like they have no self-respect. They have no pride in their work. I'm going to sit until I fix it and get it right, the end. You know? And that just never say die. Energy and effort, it's lost on people. It's gone from our culture. It's gone. It's like an old school ancient thing that's long gone from humanity because parents aren't instilling that in their children. But it's just a little rant I wanted to go on. Now that we have the calls working properly at least and we can hear you, go right ahead and make whatever point or question you wanted to ask or make.
Yeah, all right. It's great to talk to you again, Mark. It's been a while. I was in your Teaching Natural Law seminar in Philadelphia.
Oh, great.
In 2019. And since then, I just want to kind of update you what I've been up to. I did go out and purchase a nice Mac Mini, like the beefiest one there was. Nice big screen and everything. And I set about to make videos, so I've made a bunch of videos. I have a channel, and since then, I've actually even wrote a book. It's out in PDF form, and you've been a very big help to it. Big inspiration on that end. And I just wanted to say to people in Discord, if you go into the preferences and switch it from push to talk to active
I think
talk,
that may be what it has to be on. I've noticed that, and it is an additional step that most people will have to do in their preferences. You don't want to use push to talk. You just want to simply use voice activity, and that may be the issue. So thank you for bringing that up.
Switch, no problem. And it switched me to that automatically, just to let people know. That's what happened when I got unmuted, so I just went and fixed it. But yeah, I've had a big shift in the way that I view the world and everything, and I really see that when we talk about occulted and stuff that's hidden, and I know you've said this before, but I think it's just really hidden from people by their own not wanting to look into it, their own discernment. They just don't care.
Yep.
And I think that really comes from the trauma that we all suffer in this society. Just like you said, with the way we're raised and everything, we're just forced into this materialistic way of living, and the spiritual is all just thrown to the side. And then if you do discover spirituality, you get sucked into this whole new age trap, you know. So,
which
I think
teaches
that's really what
people
it's about.
total inaction and only wishing for something to occur instead of helping contribute in the physical dynamic to make it occur in our world. You know, it doesn't matter what you could wish for the end of slavery all you want. It's never going to happen until you get involved in speaking out to the public against it and informing them and educating them as to why this is not a good idea. This is not going to advance humanity in any way, spiritually, you know, culturally, or any other way.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I learned a lot of that by listening to and going back to episode 1. And I think that's something that people always need to remember about your work. Start at episode 1 and go forward. Yeah, and so it's led me really to heal myself. And I found that to help others, I kind of feel like maybe that's my mission here, to help others heal. But the only way I can really do it is by healing myself and then just becoming a better example for the people around me. And that's the way that I've been able to do a lot of this work.
That's right.
And get people to really open up and listen to what I have to say. Because after they see that, then they want to hear
That's
what I have to
how
say.
it has to start.
You know,
it has to start that way. You have to heal yourself to a point where you are at least able to feel like you are in a position to do these things. And most people are still so traumatized and not doing the shadow work to deal with the trauma that they have experienced in their life that they even try to heal themselves to the point where they can begin. You know, look, the types of loss that I've suffered myself over the last couple of years with my former life partner, Barb, passing, my grandmother on my father's side passed, my older dog, Wah, passed. I've dealt with a lot of death. You know, and it's been very difficult, very hard, not going to lie. But you have to at least get yourself healed to a point where you are in that position to say, I'm still going to do the work. I'm still going to put this out publicly. I'm still going to contribute my effort personally, you know. And a lot of people never even do the work to the point where they can even get themselves to push through that trauma. And it doesn't mean that ever goes fully away, right? You know, the loss and you know, damage to ourselves doesn't just disappear and isn't completely healed. It's the point where we strengthen ourselves against that to the point where we can do it in spite of that and push through it to get done what we know we must. It's part of persistence. It's part of courage. Healing has a lot to do with it, but it is also willpower and drive to do the right thing. That has to circumvent and overcome even those traumas that we all experience and all of us have. So that's a great point. Thank you for bringing that up.
No problem. I agree 100%. I just want to give a shout out to my website.
Yeah,
if I
absolutely.
can. I don't want to take up with the other callers, but so morelawsmoreproblems.com, still the same website. I've been doing it since 2013. So check me out there. If you want to see the book, you can get a link there, but also I got Shadow Worked. So worked like as in worked, WORKED. Shadowwork.com was available for my book, and that's the name of the book also.
Brandon,
I just wrote about
I'd be interested in possibly bringing you on to One Great Work Network. This sounds like awesome material. Let me go to the sites, check them all out, and just hit me up. You could basically send me a message at for I don't really want a lot of people hitting this to suggest people, but you know what? Just send me a private message on Discord, okay? And I want to consider your work for One Great Work Network, because this is what we need more of. People who have understood these dynamics, worked upon themselves to get to the point where they are strong enough to put work like this out, and then doing it. So I commend you for that. And if you're interested, hit me up on Discord, and we'll try to bring you on to One Great Work Network.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, Mark. Thank you very much. I am honored to be asked to be on the network. And I just want to let everyone know, I use a lot of comedy because I am a stand-up comedian.
Cool.
And I feel that fear and despair are the two worst enemies of us. So just don't, if you're doing something, just think to yourself, why am I doing what I'm doing? Is it out of a place of fear or from truth? They really get you with that fear. They're not as in control as you think. I like to call them the influencers. You really could have a good, fun life if you could just learn how to do it and still do the work.
Absolutely.
We're here to have a good time too, I think. So yeah, that's why I like to bring comedy, because there is so much comedy. I mean, Waynell Sexton, come on. That's who they said somebody's name, like it was a report. It's like, come on, guys. Anyway, look into it, everybody. But yeah, it was great chatting with you, Mark. I don't want to
Brandon,
take up too much
thank
of your
you.
time.
Awesome. Great call. Thank you for being
Thank you.
involved in actually doing the great work yourself.
Thank you,
All
Mark.
right.
Take care.
Okay. Now, see, one thing I want to say, not just about Brandon's call, because he's brought up great points about healing trauma, doing shadow work, getting to the point in knowledge where you understand what you have to do and then understanding how to do it. Very important. I want to, again, bring up, I don't do things perfectly. Some things have to be tweaked, right? Okay? No problem, right? Power through it. Don't go, oh, there might be a problem. So what? Oh my God, I had to tinker with something for a couple of minutes while I was live. Now, do I like that? No, nobody does. I get it. I understand, right? No, nobody likes going, hold on, I have to do this. It's not going to look great on the air, but I got to do it anyway, right? I just sucked it up and did it. That's persistence. This is tenet 10 out of 10. No, I'm sorry, it's 9 out of 10, right? 10 out of 10, or is it 10? I think it is. It is 10. 9 is on how to become the true media. The 9th tenet is there's no such thing as perfection. So both of these apply here. There's no such thing as perfection. I'm not going to get it 100% perfect 100% of the time. So what? Right? It's what you do most of the time that defines who you are. So I'm persistent. I'm not going to take no for an answer. I'm going to work on it and get it to work. And finally we did. Okay? I was almost ready to abandon it and just talk, but got the calls working. So now, again, it might need some tweaking on the user's end because, again, I'm using voice activity and it looks like Discord may have switched to default, especially on phones, to push to talk, which I find ridiculous, but let's see. So I'm going to unmute Patty. Let's see if we can hear from Patty now. And again, this might be, go ahead, Patty. If push to talk is activated, then just hold down the push to talk button while you speak and say something. No, not hearing them. Let's hear from Ivan from Phoenix. Long time listener. Ivan, go ahead.
Hey, Mark,
Yes,
can you
loud
hear
and
me?
clear.
All right, great. Yeah, it's been a while. Glad to have you back on the web airwaves
Thank
there.
you.
And you are that spark, because even though I spoke with Mark Devlin not too long ago, I felt like I wasn't really doing much. And yet, yeah, regularly, like every month or two, put out a podcast or a video cast or something with our friend Francesco
Yes.
from Italy, or my friend Joe Murray. But yet, still that feeling that nothing's really being accomplished. But yet, it's that marathon. Got to
Yes.
keep doing whatever little bit we can, little by little. It's not going to happen overnight.
pushing
But
it.
listening to you now. Yeah, listening to you now, this episode, that is that spark. It's you are the what was that? Oh man, what was that term you said? We need that, like family members have that. Usually, it's the mother, that one figure.
Oh yeah, the Maven.
The
Yes.
Maven.
Yes.
Yes, as far as the truth movement and freedom and anarchy, hey, sorry, Mark, but you appear to be our maven.
I appreciate
because
that.
sometimes when we feel out and out, yeah, listening to you rejuvenates
So, ladies
that.
and gentlemen, Ivan is on the One Great Work Network. Look at the work that he has done with Guy Next Door Speaks and the other collaborative projects that he's done with other content creators. This is what it is to do the One Great Work Network. This is what it is to do the One Great Work. So, Ivan, I mean, I'd like you to just tell people about what made you make the decision finally to come out of whatever was previously holding you back from speaking out and decide to actively yourself get involved in doing the One Great Work. What was like the main thing that you that finally clicked, that was like, even though other people are out there doing it, right? I myself want to get involved in this work and doing it and adding my voice to the chorus, not just listening.
Well, yeah, like you've said, you are the broken record. You're always saying the same thing over and over again. And after several years of me listening to you and David Icke and Tessarian and a whole bunch of other people, it's like nobody else was really listening to the truth. And then, like I put in one of my talks, and it says on my One Great Work Network page, after becoming a truth seeker, you have to become a truth speaker. Because like you also said, once you take it in for yourself and incorporate it, or you got a handle on what's going on, you got to do something with it. I'm not just going to sit around and say, hey, I know it all. I know it all. And we know plenty of people that are like that. They think they know it all, but what are they doing with it?
That's
nothing. Right. And yeah, once it reaches that point, there's a little, you set like a template, and others have that. You learn it, then you do a little podcast, a little radio show or something, then you do some videos, do a presentation, and then maybe hold a conference, and it keeps going from there. And the thing is not to stop. And that's basically it.
And you know, people could say, well, I've stopped, I've taken a break. Yes, this is true. We all need that occasionally. What I did during this second long hiatus that I took, I previously had taken like a 2 or 3 year hiatus. It was longer than 2 years, I think, years ago. This recent hiatus was for a restructuring energetically, a restructuring of efficiency, of doing something without as much energy expenditure, but still accomplishing something. And I feel good about it. I feel better about the show. Were there technical problems this week? Yes, there were. Okay. I will iron those out. It's, again, 3.0 format, right? This is the third incarnation of the What on Earth is Happening show. I'm going to refine it. I'm going to learn from my mistakes. I'm going to learn what not to do. I'm going to learn how to do things better. That's what the great work is to do. There is no such thing as perfection. I'm not waiting to get it perfect, and neither should you. Perfection is the enemy of good. Do something that is good and improve upon it as you go. It's a great life lesson. It's a lesson in technology, and it's a lesson in the One Great Work. Ivan, I definitely so very much appreciate and love what you've done as far as your contribution to the One Great Work. Ivan hosted the Truth Mind Reality Conference. He's done a podcast, done video work as a contributor to One Great Work Network. This is what it's all about. It's about getting involved yourself, putting your own voice out there in whatever way you can with the technology that is at your disposal. Technology is not the bad guy, folks. I'm sorry. A lot of people have this Luddite view of technology, this fearful, almost phobic view of technology. Technology is a tool, and we all use it every day, even if it's not computer technology. It doesn't have to be computer technology to be technology. Do you use a knife and fork? You use a spoon, you use a glass, you use a bottle, you have a bed. All of these are pieces of technology. They're things that had to be fabricated from other materials, fashioned into what they're fashioned into, and they serve a purpose. A bottle holds liquid that I could then drink from. I got news for you, folks. I just used a piece of technology, okay? If you say, I'm going to forego all technology, you'll be living out in the woods naked. That's what no technology is. That's why anarcho-primitivists are ridiculous, and it's not real anarchy. They're fake-ass anarchists, okay? Get over this notion that technology is a problem. No, technology as it has been thus far used by the bad guys and other people who are helping them has been a problem. Technology is a tool that can be used toward our benefit and toward the creation of a free society if we use it wisely. So, Ivan, I just wanted to say thank you for the work that you've already done and continue to do. Do we still have you? And if you have anything else, go right ahead. Looks like Ivan may have gone or we're having problems with him. Well, I'm going to mute you for now. There you go. You just, your voice went off for a moment. Continue. No, maybe he's in it. There you go.
Okay, yeah, I heard here.
Okay, maybe that was the internet connection,
it's just
possibly.
You did it for a
so
second.
hopefully that came through. I know it's being recorded locally, so just go ahead and continue.
No, I just wanted to take it back to your theme of this show is, like people think that when you're doing great work, it's got to be 24/7, 365, and it's like everyone gets tired of everything. You get tired physically, emotionally, mentally, and you do got to step back and regroup and then come back or pace yourself. And when you pace yourself, either people look at it like, oh, you're not doing, you can do more, or it's like me in my case, sometimes you kind of lose confidence in yourself. It's like, oh man, all these people are doing this and I'm not doing as much.
Could you imagine either one of us saying like, wow, man, that David Icke, he's just not doing enough right now? I mean, I could not even imagine what kind of a person, the person that says something like that, they're psychologically very deeply ill. This is one of the things that I want to say out to the world, especially like if somebody who is really doing a lot said that, I'd think they have psychological problems, right? But imagine people who have done nothing themselves saying, wow, this person who's done this colossal amount of work, they should be doing even more. Whoever thinks like that, you're very, very, very psychologically and spiritually ill, and you need healing. You need to work upon yourself so that you're not that fucked up anymore, because to do that, you're fucked up. There's some trauma that you're not dealing with where you are really, really fucked up, and you need help and healing. And I don't think people really understand that
like
dynamic.
Maybe. Yeah, you know how society, they've bought into that what have you done for me lately mentality.
Right.
And that's it.
Exactly. Well, you need to look at what I've done in the long term, because guess what? My content's evergreen. And so are most content creators on the One Great Work Network. Their content doesn't go out of style. It's eternal. It's evergreen. That means that it will be just as applicable 100 years from now or 1,000 years from now as it is today, because it stands upon eternal truths that will never change. That's what putting out the information that is considered the One Great Work is all about. So, Ivan, thank you so much for the call. Great to hear from you. Glad to hear that you're still out there doing it. You're doing a good job on One Great Work Network. Keep it up, and thank you for all your contributions.
Thank you, Mark. Let's hook up sometime and put something out together,
Absolutely, my
brother.
friend. Anytime you're ready.
All right.
Take care, brother.
Take care, brother.
All right. Okay. Who do we have next? Let's try Linus again. I'll give you another shot. Let's see if we have that audio issue resolved. Linus, go right ahead.
Yeah, I think I was having.
There you go.
It's so great to hear.
Yes, it's been a
I
while.
didn't know you were coming. Since, man. Crazy
It
time.
has been.
So you want to, yeah, you want to hear what I've
Absolutely.
been up to? Just thinking, maybe cheer you up. So I joined the Freedom Cells and I started a Hill Country group.
Linus, just speak directly more into your mic or handset because you're cutting in and out. I'm going to try to boost your volume a bit, but just give me a little bit stronger of a direct, speaking into the mic. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold the mic into
much better. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So it was. So anyway, so I started, a local Freedom Cell group, and that's been amazing. It has 300 people now, which is so it's become like a cadre, and then
That's
under
pretty big.
our
That's
group,
pretty
there's
huge. And what area, if I may?
it's huge.
Where at?
Oh, that's fine. In the Texas Hill
Okay,
Country.
great.
Yeah, and it's awesome, and I have so many people moving here. These are crazy times, but in a way they can be really exciting because people really have the fire in their ass, and so people are really trying and really
It's
striving.
an opportunity,
and really
even though
putting their best.
it is absolutely insanity out there in many places. It is an opportunity
Oh my,
for awakening and growth, without a doubt.
oh yeah. Uh, so that side has been amazing, right? So all these upheaval is going on one side. Like I lost all my friends. I mean, they knew who I was already. I've always been
Right.
like this, but some reason they just couldn't be around me anymore. And I hadn't changed at all. I mean, they all knew I was gonna never go for all that. They all knew I was never gonna take a vaccine. They all knew I was an
Sure.
anarchist since I was born, you know. But all of a sudden, that became a
Wow.
problem, and yeah, so they stopped talking to me, and that's never happened to me. I'm a good friend, I've always, I really typically don't lose it. I don't think I've ever lost any friends. So that was like really hard to go through. That was like 2 years ago, and it's been going on, right? And but on the other side, on the other hand, I have new friends, and I love them, and I'm so happy. I
So
like,
some
I
people
really get
moved
along.
out of your life because of their fear and believing the propaganda of the mainstream, and then because you got involved in an activist capacity of speaking up and speaking out and trying to connect with other people moved into your life as friends who will probably be better long-term friends because of what they do understand and the fear that they are not in. They're
Yeah.
not in that level of fear-based consciousness.
No, they're
Right,
fearless and they're fierce
right.
and they're fun and active and like, I needed to get on a trip and immediately somebody volunteered to go with me and then I need to do the same. So immediately somebody volunteers to do another thing. It's amazing how things are happening where, if we do a party or something. So everybody's like locking down and everything and we're throwing parties, right? And so we went to a party in the river. I mean, it was professional. I mean, like people were like setting up, like it was like catering, like we had paid like, I don't know, $1 million for. It was, people are so organized and basically people are just doing comes out and communicating and okay, I'll do this and you do that and I'm gonna bring that and you do that and oh, wouldn't that be wonderful? Okay, I can advance some money for this so we can check that. I mean, it's just like boom,
It's a
and it's
collaborative
even
effort.
when
I mean, that's what the One Great Work is
yeah,
and should be, a collaborative effort where one person or a few people aren't pulling all the weight. As I've said many times, the old saying, many hands makes light work. And that's what we need is
yeah.
other people stepping up and coming to the table and contributing.
Yep, I mean, and I've seen it in action. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it's always going to be like that, but it's been very beautiful to see that and to form these new friendships. And another thing we're doing, which is really interesting, is we do skill shares, and that somebody in the group started that, and so every Wednesday, and I don't know if they're doing it right now, but they did it for a long time, and every Wednesday somebody would come online at 8 o'clock and share a skill for half an hour. That's it. So you'd be like, cooking your dinner or whatever and listening and learning something and on Zoom and, sharing information about that. And they would record it and then share the recording if you wanted. I mean, I talked about a few things that I didn't want recorded, but most of the stuff got recorded so people could go later and learn a skill, you know, very varied thing from bees to poultry to whatever. I mean, so ham radio or whatever. So,
That's
and it's just like an
fantastic.
introductory.
We have something
Yeah. And
similar
then
here in Pennsylvania, Freedom Cell in the Reading area, and occasionally I'll go out to that and take part in similar skill shares. So it's something that I think people are doing in small groups all over the country. I think it's very smart to prepare in that way because this could go in any direction at any given time. So it's invaluable to have those type of skills under one's belt for sure.
Exactly. And then another thing that we've done, so I'm married to like a quite well-known architect. So we for 30 years we've been thinking about, community living, and that's one of our kind of obsessions. And he's got a lot of experience designing more traditional stuff like, big complexes and big, so he's got like the actual experience to actually do it really beautifully. But we want to take it much further, and all of a sudden we have so we prepared this PPT, which is called Co-Housing for Homesteaders, how to balance ownership, design, and community respecting nature. Because, it's a very involved subject and I won't bore you with it, but just to say that, and this was thanks to John Bush because he prepared this land conference. And so he allowed me to, I said, "Look, I really wanted to be part of it." And he let me in. And so I prepared this thing, which, stems from 30 years of research on this. And I did a lot of research in Australia. I'm very good friends with Stina Kerans. I don't know if you know
I'm
who
not
she
familiar.
is, but she's she's a friend of the guys that started permaculture, and she's also been obsessed with this type of initiative of intentional living and stuff. And she's got a very interesting economic model, which is like a partnership, like a private
Mhm.
company or public company with a nonprofit underneath. And and I had this obsession for years that your community, the place you live should eventually support you if you organize it right and you live in the right community. The community ends up making money, and it ends up like supporting the people that live in it. It becomes a very alive thing. So it's a very huge investment at the beginning, but in the end, it's also your
Right.
sustenance. And anyway, it's a super involved subject. And so I spent some time preparing this PPT that has like 100 slides or something. And and we presented it, and of course, I got to work on it, but it went well. It went
Good.
really well, and
How
we got
was
a lot of
was this your first time public presenting? How was your experience in doing that?
well. No, it was not. So, I used to be an actor, and I'm also I've been a teacher, a professor in a university. Not very
Okay.
much, but I've had chances before
So
to
you already have
present things.
some
But on top,
computing skills under your belt for making and delivering
oh yeah,
presentations. Okay,
yeah,
good.
yeah. The presentation, that's not hard for me. And what's hard is to really have substance and
Right.
depth and really good stuff. I mean, that's what's hard. So anyway, and I think it needs work, but I've been giving away the presentation for free, and it has a lot of resources on because this is a very complicated, difficult subject, and a lot of people want this, and so I wanted to offer, examples of successful communities and some ideas of how to balance the private and the public and all kinds of things. So it's a long
This is
thing. So I
this
think I'm
is
going to
a
develop this
since you
more.
actually hosted a Freedom Cell, have you gotten in touch with Derek Brose about possibly doing some type of a presentation like this as part of the Greater Reset? Because this is something that Derek has been very much putting out through the Greater Reset, his website, which is about how we counter what the globalists call the Great Reset. And things like intentional communities and skill shares are a huge part of that.
Yeah, yeah.
So it
So
might be something that you want to look at.
yeah,
Maybe he can consider you as being a guest or one of the presenters for one of his next Greater Reset events, because they've been very good. I've watched them and watched a lot of the presenters, and it's very much in alignment what he and others as part of the Greater Reset have been talking about. So I think that would be a good avenue if you want to get that out there to some more people, and especially people very interested in that type of thing, to see what were the factors that led to success or failure in those types of communities. So just a suggestion.
Yeah. No, I totally know about them. Thank you. It's excellent. But actually, I presented this PPT in something that also he was involved with John, which was the Build and Exit Land Summit. Land Summit. It's similar. It's not the Greater Reset, the Great Reset, the
Right.
Greater Reset, which I was a part of. I was a part of the beginning one, just as a volunteer, and donated a couple of things. I didn't have a lot of time, but I did attend in person to the first one they did. And I don't know Derek, and I would love to, but I know John. So John's seen the content, and I think what happens is they have a lot of people that have. I don't have an internet presence. I just started this, but he did allow me to present, and on the Sunday, and I had 2 hours, so it was great. So I got a lot of people that are interested, and so I have like 70 people that want to be.
Well, see,
part of
that's a
we're
start,
actually,
because that'll get the experience under your belt, and if you just keep going with that in a public capacity, even online, I mean, and then maybe establish an internet presence, you could probably get a lot more traction for projects like that, and or help people who are undergoing a project like that to try to avoid certain pitfalls and be more efficient with it. So I think it's great stuff.
right.
I think more people have to do stuff like that, because again, this isn't all just about the psychological and spiritual aspects either. You can't put all your eggs in that basket. You have to have real world practical life skills for survival and thriving in a potential situation where you're not reliant on the technology that is based in cities and large groups of people like that, where you may have to survive in a more rural or self-contained environment. So it's we have to have both of those things and be working on them both all the time. I actually was involved, just not to belabor this too much. And Linus, I want to thank you for your call. I think that was great stuff. I'm just going to add an addendum to it at the end here. So thank you. But years ago, I was involved in a survivalist share group. We called it Survive and Thrive Philadelphia. My friend Fernando hosted it. I've talked about it a little bit in the past on What on Earth is Happening shows. They're no longer active. But we taught lots of people different survival skill shares. He had been learning these for quite some time himself. I brought some information to the table via information and field manuals and things like that that maybe had been part of military information and other sources, survivalists who have written books on the topics. And, we really learned a lot ourselves as part of that. It's not just about one person teaching in one direction. Other people have techniques and methods. They give you tips and things like that. And everybody comes out of it all with a greater knowledge base. So I love skill shares like that. I kind of think that How to Become the True Media seminar is almost similar to that, because I take a lot of questions during the seminar, and often a student may tell me something that I don't know about. I was doing something in Final Cut Pro that was taking a while, and a student raised their hand. I took their question. They said, here's a shortcut to doing that. Check it out. And it worked. And I never knew it. I didn't know it was even there. Because there's programs that are like, they're universes in and of themselves. They're worlds in and of themselves. And it's like, I may know a little bit of the geography of the program to do what I need it to do, but I don't know the totality of it. Could you imagine how much there is in a program like Adobe Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator or Apple's Final Cut Pro? Forget it. You could spend a whole lifetime learning just one app, one program. So, I know how to do the basics of what I use it for, but by no means do I know the totality of the app. And so people could even teach me, and that's why I call it a skill share, because we could even go in both directions. It's mostly me teaching the class, but often a student will show me something that I didn't know before how to do. So great points, Linus. Thank you for sharing that. And let's go on to, let's hear from Matt. Matt is one of my technical assistants here at What on Earth is Happening. Matt, how are you? Yes, I am. I can hear you.
Cool. Hey, no, I just cool to hear you live on the air. Yeah, just quickly.
Wrap it up, Matt. We're out of time.
Just what people can do to help out to raise awareness about what they're doing.
I'll tell you what. I'll bring you on. That's all the